We're out here.
Cold
Doing
steps.
a cold open? What are you doing here?
Yeah, you can do a cold open if you want.
Gotta get some music. Elevator music. Music.
We need like an opening song. That's good. I like it. This is session 68 of our playthrough of Hell's Vengeance. This is the 28th session in this chapter, chapter 4, for Queen and Empire.
We're definitely doing it.
We're definitely doing it. You're definitely you're almost on track again. I'm so proud. You're so close to the storyline, it hurts.
To the Underdark.
To the Underdark! Hold on, we're taking a side trip to the astral plane real quick. Just a short hop.
Just a short year.
Just the year. Well, time works differently over there. It's complicated. But hey, who remembers what happened last time we played?
Bob was almost dead.
Bob was you died. You used hero points to not die.
Bob was dead.
He used hero points instead of our capes.
It's true.
So, does anyone else want this one? Or...
Anybody? Bob, what do you remember from the session since you were unconscious and were able to pay attention and take notes the entire time?
Yes, I did that for sure. I remember that Nero remembers more than me.
Wise.
That's possible. That's possible. So...
There's only one way to find out, though.
It's true. You make a very good point. So basically what happened last time is we all are gathering our stuff. Nero's got his slaves in a line. We've looted thoroughly in the hidden dock. And Iwin snaps her fingers. Poof, she, Dern, and the Naga appear in front of the Vanio, which of course causes a commotion. Iwin's sort of handling it, but it's sort of like... I get the feeling like the crowd was owning her instead of her owning the crowd, because I feel like she's usually manipulating. But basically, Dern is acting the fool, cutting up the Naga in front of people and throwing meat at people. Iwin is basically answering rapid-fire questions about what was going on with sort of very short answers. And the crowd starts to settle in, and there's people stopping on the street, and before long there's a lot of people stopping. Dern takes this time to ping that Asterotrix in his mind and book it the hell out of there to the square. Fine. Cut to the rest of us. We're walking through the tunnels. We come back. We find that the halflings that we left in the mushroom room have eaten a bunch of the magic mushrooms. Vors is not angry at them, and in fact is like, man, you're going to be flying soon. It's going to be fantastic. He harvests the mushrooms. We climb out. We trundle the bodies of the live people out. We check the back where we surmise that the lead golem was. We find the indent where the statue had been. We come out, and then Joe, being the magnanimous DM that he is, says, hey, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, but while you were coming down the tunnel, did you do any healing on the way here? Which I took to mean, yes, I did. A ton of it. I'm so surprised that you asked. I just was doing it in the background. Because Vors immediately gets from full health to negative hit points in one volley of arrows from God only knows who. Nero was about to get reduced to that, and instead, in a quick moment of action, grabs Vors by the collar and dives out of the room, which leaves poor Bob unassisted, and he eats those arrows instead and drops. Thankfully, through the grace of Moloch and a couple of hero points, he survives and starts his fast healing, but he's something like 18 hit points down, 18 hit points under zero, so it's going to be a while. Nero drags Vors out of there and notices that there's no sound and doesn't figure it out long enough that I had to have Joe tell me what was going on by rolling a knowledge check. And Nero knew, even though Mike didn't know, that one of the arrows is silenced. So he pulls all the arrows out of Vors. We book it into the storage room where we found the slaves a few episodes ago and start barricading the door. We're with a few slaves. They start barricading the doors at Nero's order. Nero starts bringing Vors up. Vors starts chugging potions like crazy. We figure out that there's two people outside, one in the garden, a woman, and one in the inner garden, who is a man who sort of fits an Abernus description. You know, giant dick swinging and very thin and willowy and lithe. So Nero sends his Earth Elemental, once he's gleaned all that information, out to get Iwin. The Earth Elemental passes a linguistics check like a boss, like an Earth Elemental should, and relays what's going on. Iwin does a sending to Nero. Nero explains the situation. She poofs in. We barricade the door against whatever's trying to bash it down. We unbarricade the secret door in case we need to get out, and Iwin does a great job at identifying that it's Abernus's through her gloves of reconnaissance. She and Nero come up with a plan to bamf into the top of the tower, kill whoever the archer was up there, feasibly Rod, and then take care of the rest of it, mop it all up. So Nero starts summoning and nods to Iwin when he's about to finish his summoning. Iwin bamfs them up to the top, and poof, there we are with a giant scorpion car. And sure enough, there's Rod. And what happens is a comedy of errors, because Bors basically nearly brings down Rod a couple of times and can't figure out why he's able to soak so much damage. He's just getting hit with all these arrows and seems to be regenerating around it, seems to be taking way less damage than he should. The Scorpion car grabs him, loses him. He tries to book it out, realizing that he's in trouble here. The Scorpion car grabs him at the last second, and he gets knocked unconscious, and Iwin rips his soul out for all to see. Bors sees his other cousin and his cousin Quinta come out, and at this point we figure out that Quinta is absorbing all of this damage and healing them. Bors' cousin hurls an insult at him and tells him basically to kill Iwin, that like this is a lower creature and you, of course you would with what you are. Go ahead, end her. And Bors goes to comply. Iwin realizes that this is a dominate person spell, dispels it, and Bors instead sticks those arrows in poor Todd. At this point, Dern, who has been clued into the situation by our teleporting friend Maggie, comes charging into the scene thanks to a fly spell, and he comes charging right down on top of Todd, who is none too pleased about it. Quinta comes up and tries to do something terrible to Dern, not realizing that Dern has see invisibility up and sees her all the way in, which he announces loudly. Dern gets in their face and causes a problem. Quinta gets dropped, at which point Todd surrenders. And once Todd surrenders, Nero has taken it upon himself to go heal Bob just before. And what he does is he decides that what the best thing for me to do is to just topple off this tower and take the damage and go get Bob. So he topples off like a Weeble toy and just sort of end over end flops. And goes to heal Bob and is not present to witness that Todd surrenders and Bors kills him anyway. And that was about where we ended, with all the Abernuses dead, Bob coming up back into consciousness slowly but surely, and a Scorpion car doing Scorpion car dances on the opposite tower.
Yes. So the only thing I have different than that is, did you explicitly murder Quinta or Jairus? Because Quinta is not at dead hit points yet. Did anybody do something to her?
Bors did eat the tongue out of Jairus, so I assume
Dern ate Jairus' tongue. So yeah, so
Dern, yes.
Yeah, so she's definitely unconscious. Did you want to murder her, Dern, as part of that, or do you want her to be alive with no tongue?
Yeah, I want her to be alive, but if someone wants to kill her, I don't think I'd stop them.
Okay, well, it's just you and the Scorpion car over there. So...
I'm gonna hold her like a football.
Okay. And
is she alive and bleeding out, or can?
Well, yeah, she's bleeding profusely because you bit her tongue out, and there's a lot of blood goes to that.
Okay, I'm gonna try to stabilize her.
You're gonna make a heal check, or do you have a stabilize spell?
Well, I haven't even started the thing tool, but
Oh, select the thing tool.
I'm gonna make a heal check.
I can
But
roll that
this
for you.
this delay is brought to you by Sync RPG, making your comeback.
No, it's not. It is sick.
Lagunitas. Tasty, tasty beverages all around.
All right, heal check for Joan. You got a 15. That's enough. Yeah. So you managed to, you just like you shove cloth in her mouth.
I shoved cloth in her mouth and I started spitting on it.
Yeah, that's good. Get some spit in there.
Spit causes clotting, yes.
It's
Well,
anti-infective.
his abyssal spit. And what about Quinta? So I think you savaged her. Dern is what happened. You clawed the crap out of her. Did you want to murder her, or?
I'm gonna grab her by her hair, and I'm going to drag her out into the into like the open space. And I'm gonna say, what do I do with her? And I'm gonna look to Vors, Nero, Iwan, Bob, who I think is standing now. And Bob, I hope Bob is Bob standing or no? Is Bob still dead?
Bob's still unconscious. I don't think unless Nero got a heal off and didn't apply it, he's still at negative hit points.
He's still negative. I'll get him up.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess while everyone's doing their thing, I'm gonna bug them. I'm gonna drag Quintas by her hair into the parties area.
Okay. So you want to put everybody like in the main thing here, main garden
Yeah.
area. All right.
Yes.
All right. So Vors and Iwan, you're up here in this tower with Rod. Iwan just sucked his soul out and made you watch, or invited you to watch. You guys do anything special, or are you dragging the body?
I mean, unless it made a sound like you thought I didn't see much.
No, fair point. Well, is there a sound, Jeff? Does the soul ripping out? Does it emit sounds?
I have no idea. You tell me.
Do you have a soundboard sound for it?
No, I'll work on it. I still haven't made that ping one either. I really got to get on that one. That one's got to get made. Okay, so you're just gonna take the body down?
Sure.
All right. So I'm gonna move everybody to like that common room. All right. So when you were up on those towers, you could see to the street area. Basically, the tower is higher than the external walls, as I was saying before. So you do see that there is a crowd gathering. So you guys left the giant snake thing out there, and before, as Nero was telling everybody, Iwan was out there kind of talking it up and explaining, oh yeah, this snake monster, and we broke up the Bellflower Network was in here. He was working with them, and he was kind of getting the crowd riled up, and they started asking a lot of questions until an earth elemental slid up, grumbled in a gravelly voice to Iwan, and she just disappeared. Like, she just stopped talking to everybody and was like, disappeared. So that enticed even more people. So everybody was coming over to see what the hell is this thing, what are you guys talking about? And then like this weird stone monster coming up, barking something to you, and then the gnome disappears. That brought even more people over. And while you're up on those towers, you did see that now it's like 3 or 4 dozen people are out, kind of gathered around this snake monster, curious what's going on. But no one has ventured into the Vanio yet. And as I mentioned on Discord, because the tower is so high, the people on the outside could see up to it. So they can't see exactly what was going on top because the angle doesn't work like that. But they did see people like rushing around on it, and they did see someone fly over the side, get grabbed and pulled back by something, and then go limp on the side until they got dragged back up. So that was all visible from the bottom, and there was also shouting that presumably could have been heard outside the Vanio. Most notably, the name Quinta was screamed several times by the person who was flailing over the side of the balcony. And also the halfling in a vest zoomed across the sky into the thing, so there was... Well, again, there's a lot of action, so people are kind of aware that something was happening in here, but as I said, no one has ventured into the Vanio. So what is your plan now that you've got everybody...
How far are we from where the Naga was? Like far?
No, the Naga is. I'm gonna zoom. If you zoom out a little bit, I'm gonna go like this. Like the Naga's out here. Like it's just outside the front of the Vanio, unless you wanted it to be somewhere else. Like the Naga is.
Oh, so why the hell? Oh, it took me long because I went somewhere else.
Yeah, you went to find Nostheratrix. Correct.
I'm gonna run out with Jairus, and I'm gonna be like, my adoring fans, and I'm gonna hold Jairus like a doll.
All right. So while you guys are talking about what to do, Dern grabs Jairus and runs out the front door.
Wait, so does Vor see whether Quinta is, like, is she bleeding out, or is she stable?
She was bleeding out.
Did anybody stabilize her?
This party has such a bad track record for stabilizing people. It's
If,
crazy.
if Boris wanted her stabilized, I would have won.
No, if somebody did stabilize her, like, Boris is gonna roll a sleight of hand check and finish her off with a silver dagger.
Ooh, high fashion, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
I was
during
basically
deposits
gonna look
her.
to Boris.
Hmm?
Ivan basically is just going to look to Boris to, like, whatever he wants to do. You know, it's his deal. Like, whatever he wants to do with them, he should just do.
Yeah. So when Dern deposits her, like you can tell she's breathing very shallowly, and like she's kind of like twitching a little bit. Like you can tell she's not stable. Everyone can tell that when they put her down.
Let her die.
Okay.
Okay. Jeff can have her soul too, if he wants. The arcane points.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, if he asked Ivan to do it, she would.
All right. That's fine.
Alright, do you want the arcane points?
Ivan, in the case of family members, defers. So if you want the soul ripped out, she'll do it. She'll take the points, but it's up to Boris.
Take the points.
Okay.
For the
assuming
record,
she's
Boris knows
also-
nothing about points. He just knows that their souls are being ripped out. Do you want their souls to be ripped out? Is the real question.
Sure.
Is I assume that she's equal or greater.
Yes, she is equal to.
Okay.
Okay, so now that those are dead, in terms of prisoners and slaves, you have 8 halfling slaves, including Linbin, the named one. There is Corey, property of Elzub Distillery, LLC. Helthondis is still alive. Mazel Jaluth, the alleged barrister, is still alive but unconscious. There was a freed halfling slave rogue that was alive in the downstairs. I don't know if you dragged him up. He was the one that was invisible at the start of the fight. So, would you have left him alive is my first question.
Yeah, unless we said we killed him, we should assume he's alive, right?
I didn't mark him as dead, so I don't know if you did or did not. It's up to you guys now.
We'd probably, we'd bring him to be, tortured to death by the crown, I suppose.
Okay, then I'll move him over there. So
We can execute him later.
You have one of these guys too. In terms of bodies, you have Rod, Todd, Quinta. Jairus is a prisoner, not a body. You have the body of the alleged halfling ringleader that had the key around his neck. The Guardian Naga. You have 5 dead of rogues, those halfling rogues. You have Lyran, the shield brawler halfling, and the mage halfling. So, are you bringing bodies up? Are you leaving bodies down in the thing, or what are you... What are you bringing with you? What do you have with you here? What are you bringing out?
For Nero, personally, Nero would have had the slaves carrying loot, but probably not bodies. So just, if they're dead, we'll get them later. Just carry yourself out.
Okay. And you've gathered the Abernus bodies in this area.
Yeah, we'll say that Nero has the scorpion car and tells him to just take him outside.
Okay. All right. So I will drag Rod and Quinta. Where's Todd? Todd's over there. All right. So Dern walked in front of anybody unless somebody stopped him. He's holding Jairus in his arms. And you walk out and you say, "What, Dern?"
This is mine, and he'll throw it out on top of the Naga.
she's alive. Remember, he saved her.
Yeah.
So you throw her on top of the Naga.
And then I'll be
so
like, speak, slave.
So as you walk out, some of the people recognize you, and they point to, yeah, that's the one. He ran away faster than I've ever seen. It's like, was that you? And he points to the sky. Was that you?
Yeah.
You can do that? You can run that fast and you can fly?
And he's like, and I have a giant sword, and he brings out his falchion.
And
starts
you get
swinging it
you
around.
just start getting questions hurled at you. Like again, this is like a mob now of almost 50 people, and they're asking you all sorts of things. Like, what did you do? Why were you in there? Where did you go? Why'd you fly back so fast?
This is
Why
more
are your
than
pants
I,
unzipped?
this is more than I can handle. Have you guys seen Stair Tricks?
They all look around. Who? Not, and you can tell like no one in the crowd seems to know who you're talking about.
He's a statuesque man. He's very pale, gangly. Like
They
to
all-
say holla.
They all shake their heads. They have no idea who you're talking about, and they just begin. They kind of ignore your request after the first time, and they just start hurling more questions at you.
I'll answer, but I'll start looking back, and I'll be like, Nero.
All right. So, Nero, have you healed Bob yet?
Nero will basically keep healing Bob. I've got it queued up. And once Bob is up, he's going to basically cue him to like get to walk in, and I'll keep healing you.
Okay. So
So that'll get him up 13,
I got it. Yep.
and I'll keep healing him as we walk. Let me know when to ping him, and I'll keep pinging him.
You can keep doing it. So basically, yeah. So it only takes you like 12 seconds to get him up and walking. You can ping him as you want. So you wake up, Bob. What do you have to say or think about it?
What, I don't remember the last thing that Bob was saying before he died.
That's a
I
good
assume-
question.
You were shot a lot. I don't know what you were saying, but you were walking out of this garden,
Bob,
supposedly walking.
I'd probably wake up and scream, ah, fuck.
Yeah, you've got, like, even though he's healing you magically, you do have, like, arrows sticking out of you that, like, Nero's ripping out of you and then healing you. So you do have, like, these wounds that aren't fully healed yet. And you remember, like, Vor's going down with arrows, and then, like, a moment later, you going down because the archer was just that much faster than you guys.
Who got more kills?
That you're asking there.
Probably I win? Technically?
No, that's not what I'm asking. Did I kill anyone before I died?
No.
Fuck. Alright.
Don't forget to pick up your hammer. Don't forget to pick up your hammer.
Up. I need you lot out front.
Out front?
When the Dotari arrive, I want us to be looking like we've been through a fight, but that we've got it under control. Everybody out front.
Alright.
Nero says, pointing to the slaves, follow me. When I hand you the piece of paper, take it, hold it on your person. Understand?
They all nod. So, like, Corey nods, like, very quickly, and Linbin sees Corey do that and also nods, like, with as much confidence. The other slaves are far less confident, and they look at each other and look at Corey, and they look back at you, and they just nod, because, again, they're just terrified more than anything else. Alright, and are you bringing out your unconscious prisoners?
Why do you think we got Bob up?
to carry them?
Yeah,
So,
I was wondering who was going to do it.
Vors was carrying Mazel the whole time, so I assume he's going to continue to do that.
Sure.
And Bob can carry Helthondus the Naked. And I'll move you all to the front.
Helthongus.
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 And you got this halfling slave rogue too, who's not really invisible. And all these slaves, all the slaves you can imagine.
That should be your name, Bob.
Helthongus.
Hello, I'm Helthongus.
Alright, so you get out to the front, and the crowd doesn't really react when Nero and Bob walk out. So Nero, no one seems to know what that is, but they're studying you. And they see Bob come out carrying Helthondus, who everybody knows. Everybody in this neighborhood knows who Helthondus is. So you hear more whispering than shouting when Helthondus comes out unconscious on Bob's shoulder. And when Iwan comes out, people begin shouting just kind of like when they saw Durin, like, that's it, her, the pink one, the pink-haired one. And that was her. It's like, where did you, and how did you do that? Because you disappeared, right?
Yeah, you've never seen wizardry before?
No. And sizing up the people here, you can tell the majority of this gang of people are just like laborers and dock workers and commoners from the area. Looking around, you don't see anybody who's like, learned or sagely or even like noble yet. It's basically just, this is like a not great neighborhood, and near the docks, and that's the kind of people that have shown up. So no, these are people are astounded at all these things that have happened here. What was that thing? That thing that talked to you? What did it tell you?
Yeah. So I will be like, well, she'll walk over to Nero and kind of like put her, her arm around him and say, that was from this guy. He also has some wizardry.
And they look at you, and you have your shield out.
Sure.
Yeah, they have no idea what your shield means. They're dumb. It's like, oh, and so they're looking over all of you, and again, so Bob has health on this, and Vors is coming out with Mazel over his shoulder.
Iwan, do you mind if I?
If you what?
If I sort of try the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
So Nero will launch into something about like, behold what happens to traitors to the crown, and talking about like rooting out the bellflowers in the midst of Chilaxian roses, that sort of nonsense. So he starts launching into something like that and singing the praises of each of us.
Do you have like a speaker, like a spell that can amplify your voice?
No, I've got a spell that can enhance my diplomacy, so let's say I did that.
I imagine in my mind you're making like a King Leonidas speech. And, like,
Something like
your voice.
Something like that, but less yelling, because I think they missed the point with all the yelling in that. But I digress. So Nero basically stands up, declares all these halflings runaways, and as he's doing that, he's scribbling on paper and handing them each a piece of paper that they then clutch to their chest, and he says something like, say that you understand and agree. And they keep saying, I understand and agree, I assume.
Yes.
And as that's happening, Iwan will gesture to Maggie to, like, kind of watch them. Like, watch their lips closely as they respond.
She does.
So Nero basically starts singing the praises of the group and truthfully but embellishingly talking about the great deeds we did in uncovering this underground cell of abolitionists.
Okay. Make your diplomacy check to see how well you work the crowd.
Sure. +2 from Bell.
Yep. And they are boisterous, and as you're giving your speech, well, let's see how you roll before I... Yeah, of course. Yeah, so you manage to enthrall most of the crowd, but they are like a boisterous and like commoner type crowd. So you do have people shouting over you, asking questions. Do you field questions, or are you mostly just expounding on virtues?
He will expound on virtues, and when he reaches stop points, so like, this is Vors of the House of Burnus, blah blah blah, 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 blah. And before he launches into Iwan of Nowhereville, he'll stop and we'll field a few questions, so like bits and pieces to keep the crowd placated.
Okay. So one of the ones that comes up as you're doing all that is the fact that basically the Bellflower Network in Agorian was rumored to have been destroyed like decades ago, and so you're saying that it was active, that they gesture towards the bodies and unconscious people. These people are in the Bellflower Network?
This is the entire cell. We've rooted them out.
How are you sure it's the entire cell? Someone shouts.
Science, motherfucker. Dern interjects.
Dern looks at... The crowd looks at Dern quizzically.
We're at him, yeah.
Well, after, if there are any remaining, after they found out what happened to these, they won't be part of it anymore. They'll know better.
One shouts, and Helthondis, he was involved?
This guy was the root of this thing.
when you say that, some of them laugh because of his proclivity as a gardener. But people seem astounded and unsure of that. He's like, he's the kindly old herb dealer. What do you...
Well, how better to hide what you are than by giving the visage of a kindly old herb dealer? He's running an illegal cell in a city where it's punishable by death. The tunnel under his house to a secret dock, the hidden slaves, the monsters crafted to hide hidden tunnels. All of it is here, and proof that he's as guilty as the rest.
Yeah, so you get a bunch of murmuring in the crowd, and you can tell that some people are surprised, and some people might not even believe it, but the vast majority of the crowd seems to agree with you. And then you go on expounding on more virtues and everything that's gone on. And of course, you rolled very well, because you're Nero. You rolled a 20! Congratulations!
Yep.
Yeah.
44!
Yeah. Yeah, so you work the crowd masterfully, and they are hanging on your every word. And you do that for a little bit, and as you would have expected, after about 10-15 minutes, the Dotari show up in force.
My boss there.
Sorry?
Is my boss part of the Dotari, or is he an independent?
No,
unit?
he's not affiliated with the Dotari. The Dotari are basically like the public police, or whatever you want to call it. They're like the city guard and the police in town. Nosteratrix says like he's working with you through the Queen, basically.
Okay.
So they show up with more than a dozen people, and one of them is dressed noticeably finer armor and more badges on her chest. And they walk over, and Dern, you see Stavros standing next to this well-armored woman.
Oh my God,
And
Stavros!
they begin walking, and the woman is pointing around, and you can tell that they're basically trying to cordon off the area. Like they're setting up around the crowd and basically getting ready to say, all right, step back, make some space.
I start riling up the crowd to say Stavros' name.
Make a diplomacy check. So what do you say? Make it.
And I'm just like, Stavros, and I start looking around.
Start slow clapping.
Yeah, but if nobody, if they don't take it diplomatically, then I'll start scaring some of them. Oh, that was pretty good. Come on, give me that.
Yeah, that's so you start cheering Stavros, and a couple of people are confused, but go along with it. But the majority of the crowd is like, "What are you? Who's Stavros?" And they're looking around at all the other people. And Nero has by now named almost all of them and described what they did. No one was called Stavros, so they're all confused as you're pumping the crowd. And Stavros and the woman walk over. And Stavros points at you and says something. So, give me a perception check, Dern.
Wow, he better not backstab me. I'll kill him.
Yeah, you
that's
manage
the
to
worst.
hear even over the crowd. He says, "That's the slip that told me to find you there," and he points to you. And Dern, you notice that as he says that, Aurora's eyes looking at you go wide for a moment before she turns and barks at him. And he says, "By your own account, he is an emissary of the Queen. You will address him as such."
Yeah.
And she turns to you and walks over, unsure if you've
I'll-
actually heard the exchange.
I'll give her a bow, and then I will say, "An emissary of the Queen, indeed. Pleasure to meet you." And he'll do his best to be have a flourish.
Yeah. So as you
Yeah,
say the emissary of the Queen, her eyes go wide again for a moment, but she comports herself. Now she realizes that you did hear that little thing. And she says, "Please excuse the ignorance of my underling, Mr."
Dern.
And she adds, Mr. Dern. And again, excuse the ignorance of my underling. And she says, "I am Duratas Aurora Scylla." And make a knowledge check to see what you know about the Dotari. Anybody can make it. Dern knows nothing about the Dotari.
So Dern says, "That's a great name." And he shakes her hand. He grabs her hand and shakes it forcefully. And he says, "I'm going to be honest. I'm not the smartest, but my friends here are. And then he'll pull her over to Nero and Ivan and Boris and Bob.
Okay. So both Nero and Vors not only know what she is, so Duratas is the second highest ranking member of the Dotari class. Like basically, like she's right under the police captain. And there's several of them in the town. They have like areas, and you both also know her personally. Well, not like you don't know her personally, but you know who she is as a person, basically. And this is basically her district. She does the Dice End, the Long Market, and Bilgetown in 5 favors. So this like fifth of the city is her beat. She oversees all the police operations in the city in this area. So she nods to you, Dern, and she looks at everybody else. But she turns back to you, Dern. She acknowledges that you said you're not the smartest one and gestures us to the party. But she says, Stavros here says you've broken up the Bellflower Network?
Yeah, my boss, Steratrix. I don't know if you know him.
She shakes her head.
Oh, yeah, he gave me the assignment, and my friends and I here, we did it.
I was unaware the Bellflower Network was operating within the city limits. It was... Well, she looks at the others. It was rumors.
There's all sorts of sinister shit around here. Did you know that there's a door that leads to the Underdark? Or at least to the abyss? I don't know, but it leads somewhere.
She looks at Stavros and, like, he begins taking out a thing to begin writing notes. He's like, there's a door to the Underdark? Where?
You know what? Maybe we can hang out sometime and talk more about it.
What is your intent with that sentence?
Honestly, Dern just wants friends. He...
Alright, toss me a diplomacy check. Let's see how you deal with the stern, no-nonsense.
It's gonna be bad.
Oh, we'll find out.
I just want friends. Oh,
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah,
Let's
so
be clear, the smile is wholly role-playing, like, oh my god, this is glorious.
Yeah, so you do make her feel, more warmly towards you. But she's there for business. She's here in an official capacity. So she nods and looks towards the others and says, which one of you is in charge? Who are you pointing at?
On my screen, it's Nero.
Oh. So she turns towards Nero. You?
We're a collective, I would say, but I'm probably the best to recount what's happened here.
And as you're talking again, her Dotari, like they call them soldiers or common Dotari, they like basically the lowest ranking, the beat cops. They begin like kind of pushing back the crowd and assessing the situation. They're looking at who's alive and who's dead among the bodies you have out here. A lot of people are enthralled by the snake thing, and they're going around while she's talking to you with Stavros at her side. So she asks you basically to recount what happened. Why were you here? You were all sent by Nosteratrix?
When we were in Sonara a few months ago, was it months ago?
Yeah,
Weeks
maybe.
ago?
Yeah, several weeks. We'll call it a month or two. Yeah.
When we were in Sonara a month or two ago, there was an agitator at the Fex estate trying to convince the halflings of the estate that they could be free as part of the Bellflower Network. We managed to track that lead here where we met up with Dern. Dern had some intelligence on looking for someone known as the Barrister, and we basically followed all our leads here and set up a sting with a slave that was owned by this one here, and found that they're liberating slaves here illegally. And we tracked them. We tracked the offenders here and took care of everyone inside.
She nods along as you're doing that, and Stavros is furiously writing as you do. And she looks over and says, everyone here was involved? And she looks toward Healthondis and Mazel, and also the Abernuses.
Nero gives you the stink eye, Vors, and looks at Mazel.
Sorry, just texting me. What happened?
Nero gives you the stink eye and looks at Maisel when they're asking if everyone's involved with the Bellflower Network.
I mean, she certainly was. So.
Okay, so Nero basically will implicate everyone who's part of the Bellflower Network, and then we'll say these three are actually his cousins who believe that he's a threat to their birthright, and when we were coming out, they had set up camp and tried to murder us on the way out. We managed to barely bring them down because we were worn ragged by the original fight, but we eventually prevailed.
That intrigues her greatly. So, and she says, so you captured the Bellflowers alive, but these three... And she gestures to the dead bodies on the floor.
Yes.
Okay, so again, she looks at Stavros, who is furiously writing all of this down. And she says, is there anyone left in the Vanio?
There are a few bodies. There is a tunnel that was hidden. I'll get into detail if you want me to get into detail, but
You can hand wave it if you want.
the gist of it is there's a tunnel under the Vanio that leads to a hidden dock. Where they were shipping the slaves out as though they were shipments of grain and rice and that sort of thing.
Okay.
These runaways,
Yeah.
by my right as their discoverer, I've declared ownership of them. They all have a writ of ownership upon them, and they can give you full accounts of what they went through as well. I haven't told them to tell or not tell you anything.
Okay. Yeah, so the law Nero is citing is actual legal precedent in Cheliax. It is a little tenuous because all of these slaves have escaped within the last couple of days, some as early as like this very morning. So it's a question legally of should they be returned immediately or if they should if the runaway laws apply. So, but that's not really for it's a civil matter. That's not really for the Dotari to decide. You have a writ. She doesn't care. So she kind of hand waves that whole thing. And they say, so these prisoners and these bodies, are you turning them over to me now?
Yes. Yes, I can give you details about what's inside, where it is, that sort of thing.
Okay.
By the way, madam, and Nero will mention some sort of bust that she's had or some sort of nonsense and talk about how it was an impressive piece of police work on an offhand note.
All right, toss me another diplomacy check just for her.
Sure.
You're you, so it's going to be great.
Hooray! I'm fine.
Yeah, so she does take the personal compliment very well. Yeah, and she begins talking to you about that specific case, like, oh, I'm surprised you've heard about that, and, just going back and forth, a little banter and some inside info about the case. But you can tell you've definitely warmed her up, and she's very happy, especially now that you've agreed to kind of turn over the bodies and the prisoners. And as you're talking, some more Dotari show up, and just with a couple of hand gestures, she orders them to basically begin sealing up the Vanio, basically taking control of the Vanio. And the crowd has grown even larger now. There's more than 100 people out there. And you now see that among the common rabble that are around, there are some noble-looking people. There are some well-dressed people in the crowd. This has now gotten a lot of attention. What are you making a check for specifically?
Knowledge and ability.
Knowledge and ability. See if you know any of them.
Smart.
Yes. I had notes on noble houses, and I can't find them.
Oh, I win loose end, right?
Yeah,
What do
big
you mean?
loose end.
Siggy?
Yes.
Do you
But
want us to take care of that, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, we will. She had think Dern had told Stavros and the other guy to like tell the guards to watch for him leaving town, but
Yeah.
so you don't have to get him right away.
I'll when I hear Nero say that, I'll be like, oh shit, and then I'll go to Stavros and I'll say, come here, and then I'll bring him to Iron, and I'll say, hey, what about Siggy, the big Jack dude? You locked down the city, right?
And Stavros assures you that yes, that was the other guy. What was his name? Was it Mark?
Yeah, he was a Mark.
I think like Stavros and Mark.
Mark with a C.
Yeah, he says yes. Mark was sent to do that, and I assure you that all of the gates guards in the city have been made aware of his description.
You don't have him yet, though?
Shake says, not as far as I know. That was last time I talked to him was 10 minutes ago. And again, this entire fight that you had was like 2 minutes of time. I know like it was a whole 3-hour session, but it was like 2 minutes of real world time.
He says, okay, thanks. It really concerns my friend here, who is a very cool person.
Okay. And regarding that knowledge ability check, Iwan, Nero, and Vors, not Dern, you all identify basically they're just minor nobles of various houses. So you see specifically 3. You see house like a minor cousin from House Rosala, nobody of note from House Diocio, and one more. Let's roll it. You do see one of the younger sisters from House Naracopolis in
Weird.
Yeah, strange. So that's all happening, and again, so now the crowd is getting larger, and there are more important people in the crowd, and the Dotari, more and more are showing up every couple of minutes, and they're getting the Vanio is basically locked down now, and they're trying to keep the crowd away from the bodies in the courtyard. And you continue talking for a while. And after another 10 minutes or so, Dern, Nostheratrix shows up.
Yeah. I'll run to him and give him a hug.
Beautiful, beautiful man.
Yeah, so as you give him a hug, he throws his arms up almost in disgust, and he's like 90 feet taller than you because he is a statuesque, very tall man. And so he's holding his arm up. You're like grabbing his shins, and he's like,
I'll if he doesn't try to hug me, I'll force him to. I'll overhook him and basically really hug him.
You're gonna like jump up and try to hug him.
Yeah. That's what I do to people who don't do it.
All right. So you do that, and so he's resisting you. Go ahead and make a combat maneuver check. He's not like actively fighting you. I just want to see if you can grab him or if he just slips away.
Are we out here? Not there. The hand punching the hand.
Yes. No.
No.
Yeah, so you go up to jump to grab him, and you just slide off of him like a fireman pole, just like, and he steps out of your arms.
Statuesque.
He's lithe and nimble.
And
he just looks at you and then looks at the crowd behind you and says, or I guess you worked through it. He's like, "What is this? Is it done?"
Oh man, is it done? And he starts to walk forward and say, make way for Nostheratrix. A beautiful man. And he'll just start shoving people if they don't move.
So people begin murmuring, because this is the second time you mentioned the name now, or second or third time, and people had no idea who this Nostheratrix are. And as he's walking through, you get the impression that Nostheratrix does not like that you're saying his name so goddamn much.
Yeah, it's okay. I keep doing it.
He doesn't outwardly stop you or say anything about it, but you definitely get the impression that like he's not supposed to be a person who's talked about.
I don't think he's supposed to be a person of interest, but yeah, I'm putting him on. I'm pumping him up.
So he is completely ignoring any fanfare or whispers in the crowd, and as you're basically making a path for him, he's following you and just looking straight ahead until, I guess, you take him to the rest of the party.
I'll take him to Aurora, whose name I thought was the first word you said.
No, that was her
And,
title. Apologies.
Yeah, that was her name. And I'll take him to her, and I'll say, like, look at the bodies. And I'll show him all the bodies lined up.
Well,
For
for
the
what it's
photo.
worth, that's also very Dern, because you knew nothing about the Dotari, so as far as you know, that was her first name.
No,
and
yeah,
not a
both
title.
of us.
Yeah,
Both
both you
Dern
and
had no
Strog and
idea.
Dern made the same mistake, and that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll show him the snake, and I'll show him Helthondis, and I'll be like, this is Helthondis, this is the snake, and I'll run him over and show him all the little bodies I've racked up.
Okay. And so when you gesture to Healthondis, he looks back at you and to Nero as well. And he says, "You mentioned he was involved. You have evidence now?"
Yeah, and then he points at Maggie, because I don't know about the brain investigations. So I only know about the cameraman.
So yeah, Ivan would go over and kind of bring Maggie back with her
Mhm.
to Nostalgics and look at him and say, assuming you're familiar with the sort,
He nods.
we can show you a bunch of what happened. I'm sure you're probably interested.
He nods.
So Ivan will look back at Maggie and she'll be like, as we discussed, I had posted some stuff on the session prep thing.
Mhm.
So there's like a few specific things that she'll have prepared Maggie to show Nostalgic specifically. Trying not to, just like showing him kind of like images,
Mhm.
saving some stuff for others.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, he can do that. Or she can do that. And it only takes a round to replay an hour of recorded images, and this entire thing was probably an hour, if not an hour and a half tops, because you just tore through it. Yeah, so it only takes him like 12 seconds to get the entire picture of what you wanted to share. Yeah, and she saw enough. He did attack you. He was acting in the capacity of something of an abolitionist when the slave came in there. And I guess are you sharing the fact that like the whole dock down under the thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So after
She'll also be purposely showing some images highlighting like each of them specifically. She'll have brewed up a few specifically for Dern, but like also them.
okay.
So he understands a little bit better. Her idea is for him to understand a little bit better like why Dern brought the rest.
Okay. Yeah, so he gets that message, and so specifically with Dern, pick two moments that where Dern shined that you want to specifically highlight.
Can we save that for after? I'll put it in the
Okay.
Discord. I want to think about that.
Sure. All right. So you'll do that, and assuming they're decent, basically Nostalgic is going to look at Dern and have like something of an appreciation for you. He's been very dismissive of you this entire time, especially once you began failing his mission, which he believed would be really easy for you to accomplish.
Yeah,
but
terrible assignment, by the way.
So whatever Iwan is showing him shows that you're definitely a capable tool. And as you say, maybe you were just applied wrong here from the beginning. And as Iwan said, she makes the case for why you had to bring everybody else in. And he understands now, basically, the way Nero and Vors kind of architected this. We're getting Corey in here, we're going to do that. And that's kind of what he assumed Dern would do himself, because Dern is a halfling. He just thought you would get picked up by this and, get picked up by the abolitionists. So again, you look at him for a while, and you can tell that he's beginning to understand that you were a tool that was wrongly applied. So it goes. And so he looks back at Nero, who he now understands is something of a mastermind. And he says, this is certainly flashier than I imagined, but to each his own, I suppose.
I don't know if there's any way to quietly play a giant snake monster. And I think this is good for law and order.
Indeed. But the network was little more than rumors before this, and he gestures to the giant snake monster. He says, we could have swept us under the rug quietly and they would still only be rumors.
Could have been rumors, and now instead, they're nothing.
Nice.
And importantly, the next time somebody wants to start up a similar network, they'll remember this.
He seems unimpressed by your arguments. He says, maybe not. Maybe they'll just be more careful next time.
I assume that Maggie showed you the paperwork?
I'm not sure how much Maggie actually saw. Like, did you show Maggie the papers when you were looking over them yourself?
I don't know.
Well,
Something
that,
you're
for
on.
what's worth, that wasn't something that I would discuss with Maggie. So when
So no.
I would hear Nero say that, she'll look back at him and say, not yet, but we can if this is where you want that shown.
So now Sterotix is interested now that there's something he hasn't seen and you're talking about.
There are ledgers. I can't make head or tail of it, but I'm sure that it's Bellflower Network movings in the Empire. So I'm
Oh.
not sure if I should give that to you or to the Jatari or who should get that.
He has to at least see it.
Of course. And Nero will produce it.
Alright. How does he have linguistics? Is a wonderful question.
Nah, son.
Nah. Yeah, so he reads this and he gets the same gist as you. That this, like, he looks at it and initially says, like, these are farming almanacs. These are, and then he looks at them again. And he says, "You're right. There's something here. It's just." And he also can't make head or tail of it.
The church, a scribe, someone. Maybe I've been meaning to pay a visit to Maris, the old wizard. He might be able to make head or tail of it.
Now Sterotix asks to take at least one of the pages with him, if that's okay.
Whatever you need.
He said one should be good enough.
Okay.
Yeah, so he just takes one of the random almanac pages. And he begins talking to the Dotari captain. Unless anybody else wants to interrupt or say anything else to him. No? Okay.
Maybe that there's some powerful forces working against us, as evidenced by the people trying to murder us as we left. Do you mind if we keep Dern around? I assume you don't have an immediate assignment for him?
Nah, it says that is correct. He's free to do as he wishes until another assignment comes his way.
Alright, then he'll be with us for at least a few days, if that's okay.
He nods. That's acceptable.
Thanks for being a nice slave master.
He almost cracks a smile. He just almost, again, his mouth twitches in the almost a smile. And he nods to you. He doesn't bow. He nods very shallowly to you. And he looks back at Nero and says,
Vors whispers to Dern, now's the time to ask for the $2,000 a month.
I was
$2,000 a week.
He whispers back and he's like, I'm thinking about the wand teleport, but I don't think it's right, so I'm not going to say it.
Nas Sterotix looks back at Nero and just says, keep him out of trouble.
We tend to be a magnet for trouble, so I'll keep him out of any of his own trouble.
He nods and then goes back to continuing to talk to the captain. So you've now turned over all of the bodies, one piece of the almanac, all of the prisoners to the Dotari. And you are claiming ownership of all of the halflings, so we can sort that out later. As I mentioned before, it's a tenuous argument, but you believe you have at least some legal standing to do this, and it's certainly a civil action that the Dotari aren't going to enforce right now. Alright. Everybody can toss me a perception check.
I see Caroline. Perception check.
Not enough.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, you rolled a 1, Boris. That's pretty terrible.
Glad we don't have critical fails on skill checks.
I know, right? Agreed.
Ronnie's that.
Dern and I wouldn't see into the past, for God's sake.
Yeah. Where do I have this? Where are you? I need to make a secret-y stealthy check. Secret. And skills. Stealthy. Iwan and Dern, you both see someone that matches Siggy's description in the crowd.
I'm going to. Am I standing beside Iwan?
You're near enough, yeah, you can walk over to her.
Do you want me to jump in?
We probably want to be a little bit more discreet. Let's just keep an eye on him. Yeah. What is so Joe? What is he doing? Is he just standing there looking? Is he like?
Yeah, he basically pushed himself to the middle of the crowd, and he's looking at what's going on in the front of the Vanio, and he sees all the Dotari circled around. He sees Nostheratrix talking to the Dotari captain, and, you know, Nero is either talking to the Nostheratrix or working the crowd a little bit. So he definitely sees that, you know, there's a bunch of people, there's a bunch of halflings and a bunch of bodies on the floor circled by Dotari.
I'm not letting him get away. I'm gonna watch him from behind, and I'm gonna stealth off.
Charge stealth, yeah.
Charge stealth.
I'm charge stealthing to the back.
Okay.
So as Dern's doing that, I would go around to the rest of the party, just kind of like nudging them and, you know, gesturing over towards Siggy. Our friend's back.
Forrest, can you take him now?
Sure. I mean, wait, this is Chris asking, does Iwan need his soul, or does it need him to die?
He just has to die.
Chris, question for Joe. Do you think the Dotari would want to take him alive for questioning?
Does Vors think that the Dotari would want to take him alive for questioning? I mean, they've already have the barrister and Helthondis. Those are two really good people to question. They don't really know what Siggy's involvement is. You just told them to look out that he was involved. So you don't think too much of that either way, no.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, Boris would tell Iwan then, like, now's not the time.
Yeah, no, I know, but we'll just keep an eye on him, and it might be the time when we're not around everybody.
Yeah.
So Dern goes sneaking off. And
Surveillance.
Surveillance.
Why not take him now?
Probably because...
You mean
Do I not want to know about this?
No, you don't want to know about this. Oh yeah, you don't know about this. You don't want to know about this. Boris whispers to Nero, we need him dead.
He's basically, if he's caught, he's dead. So regardless of whether we killed him, if the crown got a hold of him, he's dead. But I'll defer to you.
I would think about it for a second and you think they'd make it quick?
Oh no. Days, probably. I assume they'd crucify. I assume they'd crucify him at least.
So I would mull that over for a bit. Days is probably fast enough. She kind of look over to Maggie and smile. Days is fast enough, yeah?
Maggie nods and says, oh, I don't have the voice queued up. He says that the Archfiend is patient.
So I would look back at Nero and say, I kind of actually, I like that way for him. So yeah. Shall we go paddle?
Am I on him, Joe? I must be at the top of initiative with my stealth 20.
Initiative, it doesn't work on stealth based in this game. That's in Pathfinder 2 where you can roll initiative.
Bullshit.
But yeah, so you're moving through the crowd, and he hasn't noticed you, so you are moving towards him as this is all happening. So you're not on him,
I
but
would
you are...
draw. I would draw a large circle to get behind him.
Okay, so you're getting like a wide berth to try to get up behind him. Okay. And the rest of the party has decided to tattle, is what I'm...
Vors would slip away and try to get a flank on him, I guess.
Okay. So who's tattling? Who's saying what to who?
Well, I was waiting for Nero to agree. Like basically, we'll go and she'll kind of gesture over to the Tari who are still setting up shop. We'll go. We'll just tell them. That's it.
Or we'll take it upon ourselves. Either way is fine with me, so long as there's no collateral.
Yeah, that's fine. So I would start going over to, I guess probably the woman that Nero had talked to before, the leader of.
Aurora.
Okay, you're going to Aurora.
Yeah.
And what are you telling Aurora?
Is Stavros still kind of around her?
Yes.
So I would look at both of them, kind of like, Stavros first, back to Aurora, you said her name was?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then back to Stavros and be like, so Dern told you about the Siggy, yeah? And she'll kind of look across the two of them.
They both nod, yes.
And so she'll look out to the, to the crowd, like gesturing the two of them, and point. The big one with the tattoos. See him?
They look and let me roll perceptions for them. Where is that? D20s, because I'm not actually have tokens for them right now. So D20s pop. Yes, they both see him.
Okay. She'll be like, well, that's the one, Siggy, over there. You think you could round up your folks and bring them down?
Aurora nods and tells Stavros, take 2 men. Go get him.
I might suggest more than 2 men, but...
Oh? Why?
Well, look at him.
He is extremely large.
Yeah, and I will also kind of recap what she saw him carrying, right? Like, this is the guy they used to shuttle boxes and boxes of halflings here. He carried 4 or 5 at once, something like that. I mean, take my word for it, you're going to want more than 2.
Okay, so she nods and she says, take 5 then. And she gestures to like 3 other guys that are kind of holding the line around the area. So take 5. You and 5, go. And Stavros nods and rounds up his posse to go get this guy. They begin walking, and he begins slinking away. So, Durin, make another perception check to see if you see Siggy slinking. Skills. Stealthy.
Should Vors make one too?
So you slipped away, so where were you going?
To like track him, I guess. Just to get closer in case he tries to.
Sure. Alright, so Durin,
Presumably, I'm gonna stay within 60 feet of him for sure.
okay. Make a perception check as well. Durin, you have lost him in the crowd. So you give him like a wide berth and try to come back around him. And then when you look, you just, again, there's this crowd of people that he's in. And you've lost him. So you are kind of not sure what's going on. Vors, on the other hand, has a very good bead on him. So you're working through this crowd, and it's almost disorienting for you because, again, you don't have sight. You have this weird, like, echolocation ability, and there's this mass of people that are, like, you know, bumping into each other, and you're kind of just pushing your way through, and you're just, like, watching this weird, like, you know, sound-based image of this giant man pushing his way through the crowd, disappearing, and then reappearing, because, again, like, if someone blocks him, you really have trouble seeing him, but you are really good at following him. So you're just trying your best to stay within 60 feet, and you do follow him, and he's getting towards the edge of the crowd, and he's like very visibly, like, with a purpose, moving towards like an alleyway.
Do I see Vors?
No, you lost everybody. Well, I assume Vors isn't looking to be hidden, but again, you didn't roll well enough. The crowd is too thick.
Vors is probably less conspicuous than Siggy, so if you can't see Siggy, then
Oh, so you're being stealthy about it. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I don't want Siggy to know that I'm like trailing him.
Fair point. So Siggy is breaking from the crowd and moving towards an alleyway, and the Dotari are still behind you, Vors, like because you snuck off a little earlier.
Alright. I mean, I can see down the dark alley just as well as I can see anywhere else, so...
Are you following Siggy down the dark alley?
That sounds like a terrible idea.
I'm just confirming what you said you were doing.
I would go to the edge of the crowd, I guess.
Okay, so you go to the edge of the crowd, and you see him walk into an alley.
Okay, Can I see down the alley?
Yeah, you can see in a little bit into it before, like, basically, like, the angle you have on the alley isn't good. Like, are you actually going to leave the crowd to get, like, a full view down the alley?
Sure.
Okay. Make another stealth check. Oh, you haven't made one yet, so make a stealth check.
Can I retry to pick up everyone, or am I just lost?
You can make another one, sure. Why
Because I
not?
might climb a building if I have to.
I love it when people climb buildings. Vors, make a stealth check. See if
Come on,
Dern
roll
picks
low.
you up. Make
Roll
a-
low.
Hold on. I
You
need
gotta make a
to...
stealth.
Just type roll 1d1. He won't even notice.
1d1. Oh no, I failed my stealth check. I've been seen.
No, I was just seeing like whether I got like my studied target bonus against them. Oof, not great.
You do, don't you?
Not on stealth. I do on perception. And sense motive.
Yeah, so after you leave the crowd, you try to get close to the alleyway, but are trying to stay your best hidden. But you notice that he does notice that you're following him.
Alright.
And Dern does see you as well.
Does he notice that I noticed that he noticed?
I don't know, but the important thing is that he looks over his shoulder, and he does catch you kind of like peeking around a corner just for a second. He does feel like he's being followed now.
Do I, so if I notice Vors, do I notice where he's looking?
Oh no. Oh, wait. Study socialite. No, I do get, I get a +3 on the stealth. I do.
Against Siggy, not Dern, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess yeah, I didn't study Dern.
That does matter. So Siggy did not notice you.
Fantastic.
And Dern did.
And do I see where Vors is casting his attention? Not
Yeah,
his?
so you watch as Vors is he was like moving through the crowd, and you lost everybody for a moment, and then you see distinctively Vors leave the crowd, and he's doing his best to be stealthy, and he's doing a decent job of it. But you do catch him as like he basically is looking down an alleyway, and then quickly jumps back. So you realize he is focusing on an alleyway.
How tall is the building up that alleyway?
15 feet.
Yeah, fuck it, I'll climb it.
You can fly.
I can't fly right now.
He has to
think
cast spells to fly. I don't know how many spells he's got left.
It must have worn off.
Yeah, it's certainly off by now, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Alright. So he hasn't noticed you guys, so both of you make a perception check, and Dern make a stealth check when you get up. Yeah, you climb the building easily.
Oh god.
Yeah, he sees you as you get on the building. Vors, that's an amazing perception check.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, so Dern, we could also make one.
Perception?
Yes.
Okay.
That's pretty good. So Dern, you
Just
climb
gonna
the
smell
building.
you peanut butter for breakfast.
So you climb the building, and you notice as you move on the roof, like you basically move on one of the shingles, and it makes a loud noise. Maybe one of the shingles falls off and hits the ground. And he turns to look at you, and you can tell that like you've been made, basically. But right before that happened, both of you heard that he was like violently arguing with somebody. He was like, no, we can't. And something said, we have to. Something said, like,
We have to.
Oh, demons. Or
And
angels.
and he's shouting down this alleyway. He's all alone in this alleyway, and he's shouting. He keeps looking over, like, to the side, and is shouting.
Wars knocks a couple arrows.
You don't have a map for this, do you?
I do have a map for this.
Oh, okay.
How dare you?
No,
How dare you?
I thought this was off the cuff, so I'm trying to now visualize where I'm standing and all this.
Well,
You don't have to anymore.
This map brought to you by Lagunitas.
This beer speaks, people mumble.
yeah.
Hey now.
This
Drink
music is
Lagunitas.
no longer appropriate.
No, it's not. But you have to admit it was good.
So, unless I said 15 feet, but it's actually like 20 feet. So you've gone this roof, Dern, over there.
And the buildings are all sized. Wow, you really were ready.
I mean,
I apologize, sir.
I've been doing this for a day and a half or so. So you see Siggy's over here.
Got music for us?
I don't have a Siggy fight music. I'm just gonna use that Sisters Battle music. I think probably is my go-to, the Darkest Dungeon stuff.
Yes, it's still good. It's always good.
It's fantastic.
Yes.
Where is it? Sister fight.
Oh, you even have elevations? Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He made me look like a fool.
Question me?
I am
How
God.
dare you think the GM would be unprepared?
Okay. So you and Vors are there. And as I said, so he was basically arguing with them. He keeps looking over to his shoulder and is shouting, and something is talking back to him. And 39 and 34. Yeah, you both rolled really well. So the tattoos he has, again, he had like over his back and his shoulders, he had like these lightning bolts and these tendrils on his back. And as he's shouting, the tendrils on his back are moving. Like his tattoos are now moving and writhing all over his back as he's shouting at something.
Okay, and I'm gonna shout for Nero.
And they're behind the crowd, and they didn't say they were following, so there's a wall of hundreds of people between you and them.
I guess Boris would shoot a screeching bolt.
Yep. So we're gonna roll initiative because he saw you, and let's
He
see
did
how
not.
fast.
He did not.
Well, sorry, he saw Dern. So that's what, like, you were sneaking up, and then Dern climbed a roof. And
Can I climb a different roof and like do that stealthily? So I guess
Well,
right
Well, we can do that now. So basically, you beat him in initiative, so you can do what you like. But you were peeking around this. Dern saw you and decided, I'm going to climb up this roof. And he kicked off one of the shingles as he was doing it. And so Siggy stops arguing and looks up at Dern, who tries to hide on top of the roof but fails. And then combat breaks out, and he lost. So Dern, you get to go first.
I'm gonna make an earnest effort to make a commotion.
A commotion? In what sense? What are you doing?
Like I'm gonna go to the edge of my roof and start shouting and waving as my action, if you want it as an action.
Oh, so you're trying to get the attention of the rest of the party?
Yeah, I don't know if I have any fire or anything. I guess I don't. No.
You don't have any cool
yeah,
spells that can summon attention?
No, I don't have summon attention. I'll just start waving around my sword and start shouting and stuff.
Okay.
I'll start banging on the corner of the roof because I figure I've been made, so I'll start making a lot of noise.
Okay, so you're distracting, and Vors, you're trying to climb and sneak.
Yeah.
You do both of those. So you can climb at half your speed, so to get up 30 feet is one move to get up to the top of this, basically.
Alright, I do that.
Yeah. You gonna do anything else?
Probably like finish like move closer to the. Yeah, I'd probably like move there. Do I need to roll another stealth check?
No, that same one will work.
Okay.
So let me turn off my secreties and see his perceptionies.
Remember, I got a +3.
Yeah, he's not even gonna come close to seeing you ever. It's just not gonna happen.
I think you're safe, dude.
Mathematically possible.
Yeah, you're correct. So yeah, so that's happening, and now Siggy goes. And you watch as, now that you're closer, and you can roll another perception check, Vors, now that you're a bit closer. You're within 25 feet of him, 30 feet of him. Yeah,
Plus
so... Plus what?
I get a +3 when I'm perceiving S3 target.
Yeah, so you hear, like, he's definitely talking to something, and you hear...
You see, they know.
And you look as his shoulder is, like, gaping open and closing. Like, there's this weird maw on his shoulder, this black inky, like, his tattoo is talking to him. And he turns around, he's looking at Dern, who's now making a scene, as if trying to be noticed. And you watch as he begins shouting, no, please, no, I don't. And you watch as his back begins to, like, snap, and he falls to his knees as his arms mutate into these bat wings.
Oh,
And he
fuck.
begins to fly away.
Holy fuck.
And he's shouting, I don't want this! And you watch as he flies.
Well, motherfucker, I have a scroll of flying. I don't know how, but I do.
Okay.
So I am coming.
Dude.
I am going to...
Does the rest
Go
of
ahead.
the rest of us see any of this?
You gotta see the guy with bat wings flying through the sky.
Well, he's flying in the alleyway. He's not flying 100 feet in the air. But so Dern, so what are you doing? Are you just shouting over a crowd?
I'm making a commotion, whatever that means.
And the crowd is a commotion. So you got nothing you can do to draw attention.
I mean, I was up on a roof. I have Zerk. I could start snorting Zerk on the roof.
I don't think that's going to draw much attention.
Does Arcane Strike make a little glitter when I strike?
No, that just makes your weapons magical. It's not like a fireball or something like that.
No, I literally have no way to make attention other than...
Well, that is. Yeah, so I think shouting on a roof isn't really going to draw the attention of everybody else. I'll bring their tokens here just in case.
When I see him fly away, I'll cast fly. I'll cast my scroll of fly, and I will. I'll follow him from much higher, so hopefully people can now notice me.
Okay. So you're
How long
going
does
to
that last?
fly as a scroll is 5 minutes. I think it's a third level spell, 5th level caster minimum, so 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
So you use a standard action to cast fly, and then what do you do with your move?
I will start tailing Siggy from high up. I'll fly 45 degrees forward.
Okay. So 60 feet forward and 30 feet up.
Yeah.
So a halfling
Sweet.
bounds off the roof. Go like that. And some of the crowd at the tail end of the crowd actually notice this because it's weird. Again, the flying halfling is back and they're shouting. So like there's beginning. It's not the rest of the party doesn't know yet, but the crowd seems to have noticed. And Vors, what would you like to do?
Deploy my owl.
Okay. And what do you tell your owl to do?
Follow Mr. Gaping Maw.
Okay. How fast does your owl move?
He flies. So,
But how fast?
I don't know, he's... they're meant to fucking fly, so...
It's true. A giant, or not a giant owl, it's the little one, right?
Yeah, I'm not deploying the giant one.
Uh,
Serpentine owl figurine orange power.
the horned owl. Its speed is 60 feet. So it matches him. So you deploy an owl, and they're telling it to follow him. And, I get owls, I think. I don't think it's gonna matter, though. So Siggy continues to scream as this happens. Do I really want to have an owl token? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
You don't have an owl token yet?
Well, there's no great horned owl token, but I can do this little owl. This will work. So you summon an owl, and it moves 60 feet. Caca. I guess it could double move. It gets its full action, so it can actually be like right. You don't want it like on him though, obviously.
No, but he's an owl, and it's nighttime, so he's like...
Well, it's not nighttime. It's like 3 p.m.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
The Duke's ball is at 8 p.m. tonight.
Yeah, we
Oh,
still have a party
shit.
to go to.
I thought it was like...
Apologies, no, it's like 3 p.m. Again, your whole fight was 5 minutes. The entire dungeon was like an hour and a half in the afternoon.
I only met you like 3 days ago.
it was more like 8 or 9, but yes. Yeah, so you summon your owl, and you can move if you like. And Siggy is just booking it, and now this map is not big enough for him booking it.
Aha, that was right.
Yeah, so he's... it was right after long. So yeah, so he's...
Alright, Vors would shoot a screeching bolt, like, towards Siggy.
Summoning the owl is a standard action, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, alright.
Right? Yeah.
What's your range though? Don't you have like 600 feet or something stupid?
I think it's like 110, but you can take penalties. But again, he used a standard action to summon the owl anyway.
Maybe on his next turn though. I don't know.
It's true. Yeah, so Siggy's flying away, and he's flying towards the docks. And he can go in a straight line. Is it 3 times your speed? 4 times your speed?
There's no way Vors can keep up that.
Yeah.
I'll shout to Vors and say I'll follow him, but I don't know what to do. I need help. We need help when I get there.
Okay. Go get him.
Away we go.
So yeah, I guess Vors would hop off the roof and go find the rest of the party.
Okay. So you get to there, Dern. We're like way off the map now. I have no map.
That's the door.
So you're both right.
You were both. Yeah, we were both right.
You were both right.
It's
Yes.
correct.
Hero point.
So Siggy he's flying, and again you watch his human arms have turned into these weird inky bat wings, and he's flying on them. and he watches. He turns around, and the maw is still looking forward, and he's screaming, he's shouting, he doesn't want this, and he's like awkwardly flapping around, and you can hear like no, no, yes, no, yes, yes, and he's like, you can tell that they're arguing with each other, and you watch as Siggy throws one of his arms down, and he begins falling out of the air, and then you hear, and he vanishes.
Oh shit.
It's weird that he has the same noise as that other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you watch as he was plummeting down towards the ground, and then before he hit the ground, he just you can tell the telltale sign of he's teleported
Teleport.
somewhere.
Okay. I'll stop on, or actually I'll circle because you can't hover, so I'll circle where that happened
Okay.
until my fly runs out.
Well, it's like 5 minutes. So yeah, so you're circling, and while that's again, you don't detect him. He seems to have disappeared for real. You can make a spellcraft check to see if you know what that was.
Yes.
And after a couple of minutes,
So do you-
Vors comes back with the rest of the party. I'm just gonna drag you back to the regular
Is that
map.
passable? 5?
No. Yeah, so you don't know what he did. Like you're aware that teleport magic works. You've seen Iwin do it. You know that it's happened a lot. But you don't know what specifically he did. But he was arguing with himself, and he realized he was being chased, and he disappeared.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, but the rest of the party gets there. Talk amongst yourselves, or have a bio break, whatever you'd like. Be right back.
I'll take a quick minute.
So, is he coming right for us, or
We're all gonna
They took our
die.
jobs.
what's that?
They took their jobs! I thought you guys were going to fight him.
I thought so too. They're gonna get snagged.
Yeah.
Well, if he's gone, he's gone. There's nothing to be done.
Yep, agreed.
We'll deal with that tomorrow. I need to buy some things.
I'm back. Other people are peeing.
If Stern were to describe what he saw, would we be able to do checks to see if we could figure out what happened?
That's a good question. Let me see if
Stern,
Spellcraft-
describe what you saw. So it was like, and it got pitted, so pitted.
Spellcraft
That's
specifically says
funny.
as it's being cast is what the check is. So I'm gonna say, I'll say yes, but it's much harder. So yes. So Dern can describe what he saw, but all he really saw was that this guy was crashing and then teleported.
Well, I also mean, like, if they describe the tattoo and the wings coming out and all that stuff, too.
Oh.
Like, what he is, what he, you
Well,
know.
that's going to be more of a knowledge check then.
Right,
So
yeah,
Spellcraft is specifically like what he did to disappear.
Yeah. I'll just do both preemptively and see.
Nero does not know. He's not sure what that is. You're certain it was some form of dimension door. There's again, so this Dern is describing this second hand, And Nero is just he doesn't put the pieces together. But there's something specific. Like again, Chirag is Dern is describing it like what Nas was saying. Like yeah, it was like pshing, and he was like whoosh, and like Nero's like I have no idea what you're talking about. But something he said, like some specific thing, Iwan's like oh yeah, of course that whoosh, that's Dimension Door, of course. Yeah, so you know he's casting Dimension Door, which is a non-trivial arcane spell to be casting.
Mm-hmm.
And describing the tattoos and things. Iwan does not know anything like that. There are lots of like arcane tattoos that enhance her spellcasting powers and things like that, but she doesn't know of anything that is alive like that, that it was described. You're also aware
Nero would
of...
totally space out.
Sorry?
Nero would totally space out.
What does spacing out get you?
It's plus 20.
Oh, good. Fantastic. You rolled a 54. Fantastic. Yeah,
Nero actually knows all about this.
So Iwan's the one that doesn't know. Iwan is also aware of like there are illusory tattoos, like you can get magic embedded in you, so that tattoos can move. But from what Chirag and Vors described to you, this guy was talking to his tattoo and arguing with it, and it wasn't just like wasn't a design, it wasn't aesthetic. Something was alive on him.
I assume that it's the devil trying to fight for control, and that they've reached some sort of partnership.
Yes, and when you are aware that, the devil tried to possess him and failed, so you are aware that there is something going on there, but you're not familiar with how this is playing out. You don't understand why why the devil would be a tattoo, or how that would work. Nero is extremely certain that he knows what this is, and you believe that this is some sort of synthesist summoner, that basically the human and the devil are actually fused into one being, and this tattoo is the devil somehow taking a form and wrapping around the human like a suit of armor. And the thing that Vors and Dern have described, where like he turned his arms into wings, is something the devil does. Like the devil not only can control his body from time to time, as Iwan was aware of, he can mutate and change his body if he's lucky enough to roll well. And these are very powerful things. The fact that plus the fact that you guys know he can cast Dimension Door, that he is not a run-of-the-mill summoner either.
Yeah, he's not nobody.
He is not a nobody, and he got the fuck out of there.
If he's like tapping into the more devilish powers and/or the devil is taking over, would that represent a backtrack on his? Like part of the reason he has to die is so that he doesn't undo his deal, right? Or like make enough.
Correct.
So is he like further back if the devil wins, presumably?
Supposedly. So
just more curiosity for the story, for like,
yeah. So again, as described to you early on when you first heard about Siggy, the Giddim isn't all there. The Giddim is either insane or somehow mentally affected, so he can't physically possess this person all the time. And whenever he's not being possessed, Siggy was working with the Iomedaeans trying to get like an exorcism, basically get this friggin' devil out of me. I don't want this. So Siggy's soul, like he sold his soul and he's trying to redeem it. He's trying to work with the church when he can, basically to get this fixed. And he was working supposedly with this abolitionist network to that end. So you think that if the devil completely won, maybe, but again, like his soul is his soul, he sold it, and if he's trying to get an exorcism and trying to get Iomedae to intervene on him in the final judgment, you still believe that it's worth killing him.
Yeah, understood.
I think my fridge is too cold. This beer has ice chunks in it. I'm gonna fix that later. All right. Everybody's back. Shirok's not back.
And the alcohol's gonna freeze like way later, so it's probably just like a super strong beer right now.
Just close your teeth and don't take the ice in.
No, it's fine. I'll just drink the ice. I don't care. It's fine. Everything's
I'm here. I'm just listening unless you
Hey now.
Need me.
All right. So they figured all about Siggy, and he has now escaped. Siggy.
Yeah. I was listening.
He has done did vanished.
Sending the wife off to work.
All right. So let's see. I have the flow. What has to happen? Boom, 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 boom. All right. So like I said, it's like 3 p.m. Siggy has escaped. The ball is at 8 p.m. You still don't have invitations. Vors believes he can get in as Sethic's bodyguard, and Nero has a theory that he could talk Dern in with his Queen rune as a guardian of the Queen. And you guys are free to do what you like.
Vors.
Chris just stepped away.
On the theory that we could feasibly get in tonight, Nero would suggest that we either go buy clothes or that we go to get something magical that can make us look like we've got hot-ass clothes on. So Nero's into getting a hat of disguise, and he also has something else that he wants to buy that's expensive, so I need Vors to help me out and get it, even if it's covered in, children's blood.
I do most of my transactions in children's blood, actually.
I got a hot deal. Came off the back of a truck. It's covered in children's blood, but none of the children died that I'm aware of.
That does sound like a deal.
He's looking to you,
That's
Vors.
what your black market stuff comes with.
He's looking for a deal on a hat of disguise and/or something else expensive, he said.
Sorry, this little bit of absence was brought to us by Chozo's Trader Joe's knockoff. So if you could catch me up on what I just missed besides children's blood,
They make some knowledge... Oh, God, you got it.
I was going to say Siggy's gone. We've confirmed that he's some sort of summoner and not a nobody based on the stuff that he did. Iwin knows that it's Dimension Door. Nero knows what he is, kind of. And we've determined that he's not a nobody based on it, that he and the devil are somehow sharing the same body, sharing the same soul, and working somewhat together. Nero basically says, well, he's gone, and there's no real easy way to find him, so on the chance that we get into the ball, we should probably prepare. And he proposes hats of disguise all around, or that we get new clothes, and Nero wants to get some magic stuff to enhance his person as well. So he's looking to you, because you're a scumbag who knows all the scumbags.
That's not uncommon. So
Vors would be aware that using illusory magic to make yourself look like you're wearing nicer clothes, if it works, it works. But when it fails, it's very gaudy. It's like if people detect that you have fake jewelry on or illusory jewelry that's not even there, they will think even less of you than if you showed up with crappy jewelry. I'm just letting you know. So you don't even see a crappy jeweler. You like the illusory jeweler. You don't even see it because you're blind.
I'm not opposed to dressing up. Just
we should just dress up.
so you're suggesting
It's
with.
probably going to be cheaper.
I'm happy to do that. I'm not happy to go in there weaponless and armorless because based on our track record, something terrible is going to happen to us.
Could we throw all of our shit in one of the bags of holding and have it within arm's reach?
Have you put on armor before?
I care a little bit less about that.
I'm sure that Bob takes no more than 10 minutes to get into that.
That's true.
So I'd wear something baggy with my chain underneath, if possible. But Bob is going to need a disguise. Dern can be a thug and can carry whatever he wants, but, Boris, do you want to be without your bow?
Still going to have a dagger. Oh. I'd rather
So
put
you want to fight something like we fought today with a dagger?
Nah, it's too close.
So let's go shopping.
All right.
All right. What are you looking to shop for? What's the deal?
There's something called a mnemonic vestment that Nero wants that we can handle offline. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
It's basically an oracle wears it, and you can basically pocket a scroll in it, and it gives you the ability to cast that scroll as though it was on your spell list. So when I need stuff like restoration and raise dead and that sort of stuff, I don't have to eat like tons of scrolls to do it. Instead, I just have to attune a scroll to it.
Okay. Does it roll
so that's-
one spell at a time, or is it like you can tune any number
Just
of spells
one.
to? Okay.
Yeah, just one.
All right.
So, but basically gives Nero a bit more utility because I need a bit more utility.
Fair enough.
And probably a hat of disguise and then like a bunch of swanky stuff because we're rich.
Yeah. So the hat of disguise is you can easily get them in town. That's not a problem. The mnemonic vestment might be a little harder to find, but not that.
Didn't I like roll super well?
Yeah. Well, so again, this is a Gorian, so it already has like very close to the maximum, and you rolled super well, so you can find
So, like,
pretty much anything in a Gorian. Yes. So again, like I was saying, the mnemonic vestment might be hard to find here, but Vors can find it. So yes, you got the guy.
Very little children's blood. Very little.
Yes.
I
Talking.
mean, as much as you want, still.
I mean, if you're into children's blood, I can get you a good deal on children's blood.
I want to go to the Hellfire Ball wet. Anyhow, so
you guys go
we'll do
shopping.
that.
You burn some time shopping, and Vors talks to people to find the right deals and the right stuff for your mnemonic investment. Does anybody else want anything while shopping?
Well, I think maybe before shopping, as we're discussing the plans, Ivan would look to Nero and kind of be like, do we need everybody to go? Right? Some of us are better at the hobnobbing, some of us are better at the lookout. We just need representatives from the group, right?
So with Vors' cousins out of the way, that means there's now only 2 factions of people looking to murder us that we know of.
Right.
So
Yeah.
imagine we send in Vors and Dern. And then they get ambushed by God only knows what.
Well,
Yeah,
right,
they-
but I'm saying some people can be inside and others could be outside watching the... If we're going to get ambushed, somebody's got to get into the building, right? So others could be out, not necessarily representing the group, but watching for shit and
Right.
following it in.
How do you propose we watch?
What do you mean? We just have people around the perimeter of the building, right?
But how do we know when something goes down? How do we know when anyone's in trouble? I guess I could cast a spell, but that doesn't get us in immediately either.
People, if you're outside, you could be looking in, and you could be seeing inside and, like, obviously you're outside, so you could watch the outside.
I can't, like, transfer, like, ownership of the owl, like, after I've cast it, right?
You can hand the thing to somebody else and they could use it. What do you mean transfer ownership? What are you looking to do?
Oh, right, so, like, the transformation can take place once per day.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean, we could just go buy another one of these, and we could have, we could have Iwan cast it. It can be my pet owl. It'll stay on my shoulder, so she can, like, fucking see everything and then proof in when she needs to. Assuming
true.
that, although this place is probably going to be warded. Just a thought.
Not a bad assumption.
Who's the organizer of the ball?
That's
Like,
probably
can't
true.
we ask them for tickets?
You're really quiet. You pushed your microphone up high, Shirag.
Oh, I did.
Like, have we tried asking the organizer of the ball for tickets?
You mean the queen?
The Duke. No, it's the Duke's ball. The Queen is
Oh, that's
rumored
right.
to be attending, but it's Duke Robin Melisiva, sorry.
I don't know who the hell that is, but
He's a Duke.
did he see us bring out like giant snake bodies?
He wasn't personally there, no.
But his minions were for sure.
Well, again, so some nobles saw it, and it's quite a commotion, but it only happened a couple of minutes ago.
Can we grab the closest noble and say, give us a ticket?
You can certainly try.
nerd.
I mean, yeah, I don't mean to sidetrack things. I'm just like, some of us don't even have tickets, and I just wonder.
None of us have tickets, to be clear.
Let's
Oh yeah,
let's
but
prepare.
Wars might at least have a path in. The rest of us, not yet. And again, like, some of us aren't necessarily going to add anything to the talking to nobles piece. So.
Do you look
Let's-
at Bob when you say that? I think I can get in. Like, I'm only helpful at these things, so I don't really talk to people. I think.
Let's prepare. We did create quite a commotion today. Maybe we'll get lucky. And let's just be prepared for it anyway.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Why don't you find the guy who runs this thing? Like, there must be a party organizer.
I would assume that paying a visit to somebody, the party organizer might be a thing, but I would assume that paying a visit to a duke on no notice and like, hey, give me tickets is probably going to be frowned upon.
You guys are smooth as hell bore intestine. You can pull it off. Do the thing.
Let's do the shopping. Let's see where we end up. If we need to pay a visit, we'll try and pay a visit and talk to the party organizer.
I'm assuming Joe that Dern has like a classy outfit.
Did you have a classy outfit? You bought an
He's
executioner's outfit.
already worn a tuxedo.
Yeah, like I mean, is that good enough? I'm sure like
Okay, yes. You think a tuxedo would probably be good enough. So again, like a courtier's outfit is, I think, like 30 gold. And that includes like some basic jewelry and stuff, like what you'd wear to a noble event. You think a tuxedo would probably be good enough for this. But again, like, this is all about showing what you've got. This is like the high class affair of the season. So like basically people are showing off their wealth, they're showing off their best clothes, their custom tailored things. So if you care about that, then you care about that. If you don't care about that, that's fine too. But the people in the room are going to care about that sort of thing.
I
Can you
only
get
care.
2 fist rings that each say Nero on them?
Nero.
Nero. You can slap them. They're backwards, so when you slap them, you leave it on their face.
I guess Boars would probably wear everything that he just took off of Todd, Rod, and Quinta.
you,
Yeah.
you dirty bastard.
I didn't look at their loot to see if there's any jewelry on them, but I assume they have at least some. So yeah.
The blood on. Leave the blood on.
Yeah,
Still wet. We're all going wet.
that's so bad.
Wet is so in this season.
It's dear leaked.
We're leaked. Alright, so I'm gonna go back to here. The Agorian map.
Why, thank you for asking. It's children's blood.
Oh, Christ. Alright, so you guys are going shopping, or you were discussing, Iwan was discussing before you went shopping.
I think we came to the agreement that we should prepare in case we get in, and then deal with getting in if we need to. So we're going to buy some stuff, go home, get changed, and then figure it out from there.
Chris can polymorph into a cat. Okay. So you go shopping under the assumption that you will get into the ball. And like I said before, so Vor spent some time finding some of the particular items that you were looking for. Again, the vestment was a little hard to find. But everything else you know a good place to go almost immediately to get. So you're buying a hat of disguise, you're buying the vestment. Is there anything else you're buying other than nice clothes and you want jewelry or what else?
Yeah, nice clothes, nice jewelry.
Bob, what's your plan, Bob? Are you wearing a hat of disguise? Is that yours? Is Nero buying that for you? Is he playing your character?
I mean, yeah, we're gonna wear the hat of disguise. We talked about that literally 3 seconds ago.
Oh, I'm saying, are you doing that?
Yeah.
So Bob is wearing a hat of disguise. Then what do you want to look like?
Nero.
Hot.
Hot.
Does a hat of
That's
disguise
hot.
change your clothes?
I don't think I want to be covered in baby blood.
A hat of disguise, like a disguise.
Sucks for you, dude.
Yeah. I know it's not. I know it's gonna be unhip to do that, but.
Okay. So what do you plan to look like, Bobbert?
I guess I just want to, fit in. I kind of want to be holding the hammer. I don't know if that's cool.
It's explicitly not cool. You're not supposed to have any, like, garish weapons. You can have, like, people have small daggers and stuff. Mostly, like, fashionable antiques and things
Can
like
I make
that.
the hammer look smaller with
I think you can.
and antique-esque?
With Disguise Self, you can make yourself, including clothing, armor, weapons, and equipment, look different. So my first question is, do you want to look not like Bob? Is my first question.
No, I want to look like Bob. I just want to, look
Okay.
appropriately dressed with
So
a.
so you don't want to be
dagger-
look. You're not in
dagger-sized hammer.
armor. You're in like a nice suit, or what are you in?
Yeah, if that's what's appropriate.
Okay. And your hammer is what?
My hammer
Yeah.
is going to look like a.
Like a crab mallet.
I was gonna say, yeah, we can go with that. That's fancy enough.
You got a little wooden crab now, and you're walking like, I heard there's gonna be crab.
I also
You
want
gotta
to
be ready.
I would like a bib on, if that's not.
It's a bit uncouth. You could have a bib in your pocket, though. You could be ready. You could be ready for crab.
It's
I heard
gonna be a
there's
bib.
seafood.
It's gonna be a. It's gotta have a crab on the bib.
Gregorian's a
Can
big
mine
seafood
look
town.
like can mine look like a lobster shaker?
Gotta have one of those crackers.
Well, this is the best thing, is that you don't have to disguise anything. To be honest, something I'm thinking about is, do we just load you with weapons? Because
Hello, I'm Zern. I'm carrying piles of shit.
you're a bodyguard. So me being prepared for any eventuality, and I belong to the queen, and I'm here in case she maybe shows up and I'm loaded to the teeth. No one's going to look at you twice.
I'm into it. Do you have a two-way communicator spell? Or multi-communicator so we can all talk to each other in our brains?
It's called Where You At, yeah.
Can you cast level 3 Where You At? Brought to you by TELUS and Verizon.
Alright, so Bob is set with the hat of disguise. And Iwan has another hat of disguise. I don't know if she's offering it up to you fools to use.
I mean, unless somebody had a strong argument for it, then she would probably order it herself.
Fair enough. And everyone else is just dressing up nice and fancy.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'll blow on it.
And you're going to try to talk Dern in.
Yes.
Okay, fancy dress.
And I will carry the weapons. I guess Bob
Medium
wants-
size weapon? You're going to carry, like, Vors is going to give you his bow to carry.
I can
That's
carry a
very
bow.
obviously too large for you.
Go carry it in a sack, man. We'll get in a sack.
I'll put myself in the sack and break the game.
Can't stop me now. I'm in the sack.
Yeah, I dare you, Joe.
Stop the void stomach now, yeah.
See, I've got a sack, and they put me in another sack. And there's a sack and a sack, and they can't see. You can't see the double sack. No one expects a double sack. So yeah, so you guys go shopping. And as you are shopping, you spend about an hour and a half shopping. Nero, you receive a mental message. And it is very clearly Lavasvia. And she says, "You've received a package at Lawgiver's Rest. It interests you, I assure you. Come at your earliest convenience."
Apparently we're going to Lawgiver's Rest.
Is it convenient?
I assume this is ascending?
Yes, you assume it's ascending.
It's an Amazon pickup location.
We'll be there post-haste.
There's no further response.
Okay, let's get.
All right. So you get to Lawgiver's Rest.
It's either Iwan's bodily effluence or something better.
I've got you all here. These are not your updated tokens. Let me delete them and copy your updated tokens. Houndy and Lee do not get deleted. The rest of you do. Oh, also Bruxter is there. The rest of you do, and I will copy you from the Vanio. Alright. So you arrive at Lawgiver's Rest. And I'll paste you here now. There you go. And when you enter, Mr. Aleph, the maitre d', sees you come in, and he approaches you. And he looks at you, Nero, and says that he is sorry that he hasn't seen you recently. I think it's only been like 2 days, but you've been sleeping somewhere else recently.
A lot of wild things have been happening to us. We thought it best that we change where we were staying.
He nods. He says, sorry to hear that, but as it is, and he pulls out a little satchel. This arrived for you today.
Who brought it?
A well-dressed halfling?
Thank you.
He nods, and he goes back to his business. And the satchel is sealed with the sigil of House Melisiva.
Hey Joe, before he as he's leaving, Ivan would be like, "Hey, was that the only package that we got?"
He nods.
Ivan, for anybody looking at her, will grow much more visibly frustrated.
Yep. Mr. Aleph goes back to his desk.
You were expecting something?
She'll nod.
What was it?
It's not important right now. Let's figure out what's going on here.
Okay. So Nero will suggest that we hustle it out of here, and then we'll crack that up when we get to the place where we're staying.
Okay. So the rest of you leave. Take you back to the Agorian map. And you go back to your new inn.
Should we like detect anthrax or something?
Detect poison is a real spell.
Yeah,
It's one of my spontaneous spells, Detect Anthrax.
If you like, you can detect magic, obviously. That's a freebie for most of the casters.
Sure.
There's no magic on the box, on the satchel.
We open the satchel.
Alright, you break the wax seal, and inside there is a note, and there are 5 literal golden tickets. They are 6 inches by 2 inches, and they are pressed with the seal of the house and individually numbered.
Joe, we appreciate the Deus Ex Machina.
Sorry? What?
I just said we appreciate the Deus Ex Machina.
Oh. Well, no. It was there. So there is a note, and Nero reads it, and I don't have it like written up to a handout to show you, but it essentially says that news of your deeds has reached the royal court, and everyone is abuzz, and the Duke would be honored to have you as his honored guests at the ball tonight.
Well, apparently we prepared appropriately.
Do I need better clothes now?
No, you're fine. Bob's got his mallet.
Okay, we're good.
There might be crab.
There may yet be crap.
And we're fucking ready for it, boys.
We're cracking the shit out of that crap. Yeah, so again, the invitation basically implies that word of what you've done today has already, like again, it's basically caught fire in the royal court, and you're all anybody will talk about, and you would be the most interesting guests to have tonight. So he is inviting you. It's his honor to have you there. Because again, even if you don't show up, you're all anybody will be talking about at the ball. So it would be embarrassing not to have you for the Duke.
Well, now I kind of want to embarrass the Duke.
Yeah, now I'm not showing up. Fuck this party. It's not
We could
cool.
all get. Well, I guess. Well, the tickets are individually numbered, but are they? Like, are there names on them?
There are no names on them, no. But the fact that they're individually numbered implies they know who they've given them to. Like, and even if you had traded them away, like they would have known who the original recipient was.
You could send bums in there.
And
That's
for the
what I
record,
got.
yours are labeled 30 through 34.
Those are pretty low numbers.
Those are pretty low numbers. They're not like impressively low. Again, that's a good astute observation. Boys.
That's still impressively low.
They were very obviously withheld by the Duke himself for interesting
minute,
guests. Yes.
Last minute people.
And and Chris and Vors both acutely are aware of that.
Is Maggie allowed to come, or does she need a ticket?
Who?
Maggie? Demon? The one that's been filming everything?
You presume she would be allowed. You would presume that she is not a person. She is attached to Iwan.
Property.
I mean, yeah, some people own devils, yeah. And it's not uncommon to bring small ones like that, because, like, again, Zabubs are mostly harmless. Like, if you got into a fight with a Zabub, they could kill an average person, but, like, a skilled person would probably make quick work of a Zabub.
We've done that before.
Yes. Yeah, you killed one before it even knew what was happening, it's true. Like, you wouldn't walk in there with, like, you know, a Flayer devil or a bearded devil. That would be not correct. But if you're bringing, like, an accountant-type devil like that, it's not the worst thing in the world. So yeah, so you have gotten tickets. Your busting up the Bellflower Network has earned you tickets to the Hellfire Ball tonight at 8 p.m. And it is currently about 4:30 or 5, so you've got 3 hours to kill. You went shopping. You got fancy clothes. You got some jewelry. Are you going hard on jewelry, or are you going, like, adequate on jewelry?
Hard. Hard as fuck now.
Darren is going hard as fuck on jewelry. He's got all his fingers got rings on them.
Yeah,
It would go adequately.
Igloo in his mouth.
Darren is going grill. He's going weave with gold.
He's got a beard on.
He's got a golden beard.
I want tassels on my sword now. I'm still bringing my sword, by the way. That's not.
Tassels on the nips.
Do you still plan to be
assholes
talking as a
too.
bodyguard, Darren? Or are you going to just do the ticket, or are you going to talk yourself in as a bodyguard?
No, I mean, if
You said we
Nero and
got
I-
5 tickets.
You
If
have
we have
5
a chance to
tickets,
talk
but
about
Darren
it.
wants to bring his sword. If you're going
Yeah.
as a guest, you are not supposed to be bringing weapons.
Yeah, I'll talk you in. Have the ticket just in case, but I'll talk you in.
Yeah. Okay. I really don't want to get rid of my sword.
I would also like you to bring my bow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
What else do you guys want to do? You just want to talk yourself in as a bodyguard, or do you want to do anything else before? Again, you've got like 2 hours.
Where are all your halflings staying?
Yeah, you now have 8 halflings.
I'm gonna set him up at the inn. I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna ship him out of the city. Don't worry.
Send them to the Chotch Factory.
Get to work, all right?
Nah, son,
Figure out
management
how to
right
build a
there.
goddamn distillery. All right? God, why hasn't this thing done it yet? Why hasn't it just become a distillery yet?
I feel like Michael's given up on it, and it makes me sad because I.
We-
really
It's
liked it.
it's
Okay.
like literally 2 days ago you bought the property.
Yeah, everyone calm down. Also, in those 2 days, we said it became like a meth lab,
You had
And
a lot of
also,
ideas. You had a lot
like
of
a
ideas.
stock trade.
Yeah, the problem is you've had like real months of time to talk about the 2 days that have passed.
We're role playing.
I enjoy that. Michael Mosky is role playing for the first time in forever.
Well,
All right.
now it's gonna be a halfling whorehouse because we have 8 halflings and nothing to do with them. So
All right.
So, while each of the PCs are getting ready, presumably in their own space, I would cast Detect Scrying on itself.
Okay.
How about Boris, too?
Well, we know Wolf is getting scryed on.
Can we, like, dispel that shit?
Yeah.
Can you dispel it? Is there a special spell to foil it, or is it does Detect Magic work on scrying?
It's
I need
no, it's the hold on, which
I need a
I
lead
go for Island too. It's a level one of my level 3. I just remember the name.
There's no saving throw on Detect Scrying. Okay, so the first thing, while you're looking that up, you try to detect scrying on yourself, and you are not being scryed upon. You are confident that no one is scrying upon you.
Okay. Non-detection is the one that I was thinking for getting rid of the scrying.
Yes, that sounds familiar.
Which we might want to do before we head out with Boris.
Sure.
So I'm happy to give that a shot. If we agree.
Sure. Joe, if possible, I'd ask a bunch of yes/no questions. Does anyone have yes/no questions you want?
do you like to party?
Are you asking the spirits if they like to party?
I've got an extra ticket. Would any one of you like to party? One of the 5 of you.
So non-detection, there's no save or no... Right? The water creature becomes difficult to blah blah blah. If you try something, you must make a castle check to use it. So does it just... I think it just shirks off whatever you got. Or I guess maybe they make a check immediately. So you would cast it, you wouldn't roll anything, I would roll something secretly. And then I guess you'd have to somehow figure out if Voris was still being scryed on.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't
Does that sound right?
We wouldn't know if it was successful or not, but
If a divination is attempted, the caster of the divination must succeed on a caster level check against the DC 11, blah, blah, blah.
He already has
non-detection.
one on him, though. What is...
Nice.
I assume they make one immediately to see if it sticks.
I would think so too, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, if you'd like to use that, let me know. Burn the spell slot,
Yeah.
and I'll
Yeah.
make a roll. Alright. Okay. Have the roll for later.
Something, hold on, something, let me see. Yeah, this isn't right. Is this a token that was already on this map? or something?
Probably. Let me copy the one from... The Vanilla was probably the latest, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll copy. I got all of you. Gorian. I remove all of those people. And I delete you guys. Oh, not Mazel.
I want to, I guess when I go shopping, I would pay for healing.
I was going to say, yeah, should we buy some healing or...
Yeah,
Whatever you like to do. You keep track of your
much money
money,
is it?
I might keep track of your money.
I am,
Does that
roughly.
look more right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing.
Boris
me how
is
much
all
that
about
is.
having 69 hit points, but
I figured this is my lucky number. I was going to roll with it.
Nice.
right. Rather be full up.
Alright, so is Nero smacking more wands? Are you buying stuff, or what's happening?
I mean, we'll probably buy stuff. I'll probably just smack everybody for now, yeah. Got 28 charges left.
You've got more than enough time. Oh, good. You're down to a single wand's worth of charges. I'm ecstatic.
Well, I mean, I'm going to buy more wands, but yeah.
Good. Just burn all the wands so I can say for like a brief 30-second period you had no wand charges left.
16, 24, 31, 37, 47 plus 7 is 54.
That shit doesn't happen in Pathfinder 2.
I need 45.
No, Pathfinder 2 is brutal.
We'll get there eventually. In like 6 years we'll finish this campaign.
Yeah. Then we'll have to switch to a whole new BTT.
Probably.
That was not for Dern.
Oh god.
Sir?
Oh, sir. I thought it was
Sir?
a blanket heal.
No, he doesn't do that. He's wanding you.
Wait, can I heal negative 54 or will that break the game?
You can heal negative 54. It should work.
I don't think you were down 54 hit points.
I
though, were you?
also don't know what you were at. Well, I can find that out because I have a copy on the Vanio
No,
stuff.
I was at 99 out of 147.
You were 99. I can just make that happen. I'll do that for you. Watch.
Nice. Nice.
I'll just heal you
But
for 6.
that's actually my blood rage in health. But I'm too lazy to unblood rage because
Well, you should unblood rage.
I gotta sync it and it takes so long.
It takes like seconds to sync.
Alright.
God, look at this Bobbert with all his mountain of hit points.
524.
Don't do me yet.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I hit inactivate and then...
Close enough.
All right.
Uh, 11, 19, 22.
Oh god, the ampersand.
Dude, what the fuck?
That's it. Yeah. Are you failing to heal horrors?
Just Vorz's rolls are extremely shitty. Let's see what I'm at.
I would like to note that it is Nero rolling to heal
4
Horus.
horrors.
It's Nero's rolls that are shitty, not Horus in this case.
Horrors rolls are
The record
expensive
show.
historically.
Bruce, you gotta calm down before Nero hates you too.
I was gonna say, well, Vorz is now topped off as far as Nero's concerned.
If I'm at 99 out of 147 and I unblood rage, do I stay at 99 or do I drop?
Yeah, you don't lose hit points. Those are like temporary hit points off the top, not the bottom.
Okay. So I just need 4 health. I only lost 4 health.
I still need about 16. Oh, 9. 9.
9.
You can have 7.
Sir.
Jeez.
That's
How many
20
wand charges?
charges. That's 20 charges, and I will mark
Even
that
more.
off.
For one glorious moment, Nero was out of wand charges. It's gonna be great.
Never.
I got 8. I got 8 still.
You got 8. I still have enough damage.
You can totally top me off with those 8.
I'm gonna heal Dern for 0 to see where does actually bar is
Yes. My bar was weird.
at. Nero, you gotta roll it a 3rd time because you can't say Nero only 2 times.
Yeah. You have to worry about it.
You can't. You just can't.
If we need a little bit more, like I've got a bunch of infernal healing warp which are auto 10s, so
This bitch.
just let me know.
99.
Yeah, so it gives 10, so the answer is if you're less than 10, you should just take it. So yes, tap Dern and Vors, and I guess Nero.
Booby, I'm fine.
Yeah, all of them. If you tap all, including yourself. Yeah, so if you write off 5 charges, everyone's full.
Okay.
Don't bother with me. Right off 4.
Bob will be a short one. Just say.
Bobbert! And he needs all the hit points he can get, because he dies a lot.
He does.
I only died twice in 2 sessions, okay? I don't need...
I didn't remember that. You said
The
that,
first
now I
time-
felt really bad that you sat out like 2 whole sessions,
The
apparently.
first time you had it coming, we told you there was invisible food. You walked into it and it was like, hey guys. Like,
What do you mean invisible guys run 60 feet forward?
this is the second time you got ganked. That was not good.
Alright, everyone.
Oh, God. You know you have invisibility as a spell, apparently?
Me?
Yeah, that's
Bob
the
can become
insane-
invisible? Did you
Yeah,
know
We
that?
talked about
Yeah, you
this.
said that after I died last time, yeah.
Well, I was surprised. I didn't believe it, but we looked at it, and it's an anti-paladin spell, and you chose it, so you
Put useful spells on his sheet, yeah.
I mean, you're still gonna clank and everything, but you can just be invisible, which is pretty
But
sweet.
nobody will see you.
The invisible clank is what they call me.
Alright, so you've healed up, you bought your clothes, you've got golden tickets, literal golden tickets. And is now the plan you want to talk Durin in as a bodyguard? So you both
Yeah.
bodyguard weapons?
Yes, and Mr. Thope, you should tell him that so that we don't have any more angry people at us. So we got enough.
You want to go tell... So, Vors, you want to go to Sethix and say that you don't need to be his bodyguard?
Yeah, and as a gesture of goodwill, should we heal up Mr. Thorpe?
Mr. Thorpe is refusing divine healing. It's not that Sethik can't afford it. It's just Mr. Thorpe has some weird hang-up about it.
How about infernal instead of divine?
He would refuse that as well.
Oh, he's fucking weird.
Leave him unconscious, I'll heal him.
Yeah, so we'll just hand wave that. You swing by Lazarix or whatever it's called. I guess Lazarix or Lazario is probably Lazarix. So you stop by there and you tell him that you don't need the ticket anymore, that you got invited. And again, we're just going to hand wave it, but he's heard about it. So again, like, word has gotten around, and he's heard that you're like, oh, so you finally got around to doing that. I heard the Bellflower Network was in town. They got you on that? How'd you get that job?
We heard about it from a friend.
And he goes on and basically talks about all the rumors in town and how he's surprised it was as big as it was. All these bodies were brought out, and he said, you did all that? You were there for all of that?
Yeah.
And he seems like visibly impressed by this. And it's like I could tell when I saw you in the Midnight Temple when you signed in. I knew. He's really happy about the fact that he kind of picked you out of the crowd as someone of worth.
Alright, so see you at the party? See you at the party.
He nods. Yes. He says, me, Bist, and Mr. Thorpe over there, who is stoic and just, again, he's got his arm in a sling. He just grunts. All right. So that's good. And who's going to talk Dern in? Is it just Nero and Dern, or is anybody else going?
For some help. We'll start this and toss a few diplomacy checks in there.
All right.
If necessary, so I will mention this to Nero in case he wants to keep her in. She can have Maggie show some Dern clips, if necessary.
This turns 15 minutes.
I don't think it'll be necessary, but fair enough.
Just FYI.
So is Iwin going as well? Or are you just giving Maggie to them?
She'll just be in the background, and that's why I mentioned it, so we can, cue her in.
Okay.
Hey, Joe.
Yes, sir.
One of the questions Nero would ask during his divination, everything else can be handled offline because I don't think we're going to get to it tonight, but should we expect violence at the Hellfire Ball?
Oh, let's just do this now. I love doing these live. These are way more fun live
Sure.
than not live.
Sure.
All right. So, should we expect violence at the Hellfire Ball? Yes.
That's what I thought. Is it Siggy?
No.
The Narcopolis?
No.
Fax?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Has Siggy fled the city?
Yes.
This is Chris asking Joe. Is that the voice that they were responding?
I'll do the demon voice.
You want to be the demon
Hey,
voice?
do something. Do something different.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't have like a weird... I do have a spirity voice, don't I? Go with this one. Yes.
To the west? Has he fled to the west?
No.
To the north?
No.
Okay, so it's south or east. And I have 3 more questions. Will the Fex Assault be alone?
No.
Can we interject with questions, or is it just him in the world there?
I presume he
I'm
would have
re-
asked you, but if your questions are based on the questions he's asking, then no. But if they're questions you would have him ask beforehand, you can say yes.
Okay, well, you decide. But my question is there going to be an inside job? That's really. Are there spies in the midst? Are there people next to the queen that are gonna do it? I don't know how
So
you.
you're asking. So you're asking like. So you're asking something that's contingent upon there being violence at Hellfire Ball.
Yeah. So it doesn't work.
So,
Yeah. Don't worry.
I was going to ask if the Duke is aware that this is going to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
So he wants a spectacle.
Or is he in on it?
So this is to be a spectacle for the Hellfire Ball.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's 11. So Nero will relay that and make it clear that, like, yeah, we have to go loaded for bear because somebody's coming for us. So Nero going to wear his baggy tuxedo and wear that chain shirt underneath.
Nero,
Yes, sir.
you tell us all about this.
Of course.
I don't even know if Dern's smart enough. Is there a way to put calling on a weapon temporarily, like as a scroll, or?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
We just need to get them in the door, then we can all pick up our respective things and disguise them.
Yeah, that's too bad. It would be wicked if we could all just put calling on our stuff and all of a sudden Iron Man it. All right, let's do this. Let's
Okay.
make some more.
So you guys are still going through with your plan to go to the Vanio and try to talk Dern in as a bodyguard, or do you not care about that anymore?
Yeah, we'll start with that because we need to try and get weapons in.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, then we'll just disguise them in.
All right. So as you approach Duke Melizivia's estate, it is one of the larger Vanios that you walk through. So you go through Thorntown and Hellhound Hill. This is where like the houses get more spread out. It's like, you know, people have land in a major city, which is, again, impressive in its own right. And the Duke's estate is one of the larger ones among them. So as you go there, even though it's still like 3 or 4 hours before the event is set to begin, there is already lots of, you know, hustle and bustle, people moving in food and supplies and whatnot. And there are liveried servants at all of the entrances. There are like 2 main entrances and a couple of back entrances. And they are all there making sure that everybody bringing things in and whatnot are allowed to be doing so. So you go and you see there's, again, the main entrance, there's 2 main doors, and then there's a couple of side entrances. So how are you approaching the villa?
Straight on, no?
I would go with you. Let's go to a side.
Yeah.
Shit. No wonder Dern needs help.
Just because if we're trying to sneak you in as the help, we don't sneak the help in the front door.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. You two, you're smart. The very best.
All right. So you approach, and there are people moving in. There are people talking to the liveried servants at the door. They are moving in what looks like trays of food. So you wait a few moments while they finish their conversation, and the food is eventually allowed inside. And a An older man, a human, looks at you. He's got a he's wearing like liveried red and black attire with the crest of the House Melisiva on it, and he has a gold rim monocle. And he looks up at you and waves you over as if like he's been doing this all day.
Okay. Go over there.
Is everybody going with him, or is just Vors and Dern, or no, Nero and Dern? Who else? Vors is coming.
Yes.
Is Bob coming?
Yeah, why the hell not? Let's do it.
Oh, Bob's coming! Is Iwan coming, or is Iwan hanging back?
I mean, if everybody's going, it would be weird. So she'll just join. She'll just kind of like be behind.
Okay.
These are my emotional support friends. they come with me everywhere
For the last week.
Okay.
for the last week.
So he looks at you and says, "Yeah, what are you here for?"
Well, we're here for the party. The slip here is somehow a servant of the Queen, and he's here in case Her Majesty should show up. So I figured I'd bring him around the side because he's going in loaded for bear.
He chuckles when you say you're here for the party. He's like, "Yeah, you and everybody else. You're not getting in. Like, I'm not taking no bribes."
And Nero will basically hold up his ticket and be like,
Will also hold up his ticket.
Bob?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is
And
Iwan
yes,
holding
I
up-
would too.
Yeah, and Dern, are you holding up your ticket, or you're not holding up your ticket?
No, I'm just stone faced.
Okay.
so
Okay,
maybe
so you-
maybe you stop running your mouth and do your fucking job.
Shit. That's some Wegmans at
Yeah.
Monroe and the
Give me
East
an
over
intimidate check.
Oh, I want to assist. I want to assist.
Go for it, Bob. Roll some
your-
dice today. All right, you give you roll +2.
there.
Yeah.
buddy, that's good. That's
Yeah, yeah. So you spook him. He says, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And he looks. You gestured toward Dern when you described that he's looks and says, "This one is a servant of the Queen." He
Dern,
still
your
seems
hand-
skeptical.
Turn your hand.
I thought it was on.
It's on my chest.
Oh yeah, turn your chest.
So the man reaches and you watch as he adjusts his monocle and he leans in.
Darren
He says-
giggles just for a second when Nero says that, but then goes stone face again.
The man fidgets with his monocle as he leans in real close. And he reaches out, as has happened to you several times already, and he traces the rune on you. Do you allow him to touch your chest?
Yeah. Mine is extra special. There's a hole in my chest, so he can
Wait,
put his
what?
He can put his finger in the socket of the cut.
You have like a hole, or do you mean like that it's like embossed into you? What do you mean?
like it's cut. It was like cut out of me.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So he traces the hole, the
Put
void.
water.
And you watch as he lingers for a moment, because again, your rune is mostly the same as everybody else's, but it's got like this one squiggle which is like special. And it's not just that it's carved into you, it's that they're magical runes. And he's looking at it, you can tell he plays with his monocle a lot while he's doing all this. And he traces that one piece a couple of times. And he says, oh, and looks back at Nero and says, "So she'll be attending tonight?"
He's here in case she would deign to attend.
And he looks dejected when you say Dane, as if like this is the
Holy.
social event of the season. Everyone knows that he's implying with his reaction, not that he says it. But just
I wouldn't
everyone is
pretend to
everyone's
know.
hopes. Hmm?
I wouldn't pretend to know what the Queen wants.
Fair enough. And he looks at you, Dur, and says, "And you serve her? You are a bodyguard of the Queen?"
For Queen and Empire. And he does the salute or
The
whatever.
Cheliac salute. I don't know what it is, but it's not a good one, probably.
Probably a Nazi. So,
We'll go with one of these for now, but it's
Yeah.
probably not a good one.
not the good.
Yeah. And you're not lying. You said for Queen Empire. That's not a lie. So he looks it all over, and he immediately moves to more questions about the Queen. So again, you said you wouldn't dare to assume what she would do, but he begins asking immediately, like, do you have any idea what her plans are at all? Does she have any schedule? Any time she may show?
I'm here to deliver this one. That's all.
He pries with a couple more questions, but you could basically stonewall him with the same thing. And you can tell that he's dejected in that he can't get some juicy bit of information for the Duke.
Did Nero didn't ask, right? You didn't ask your spirits if the queen was coming?
Oh, I didn't think of it.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Nero will basically slip in subtly that the Fex spectacle will seem to be going off.
You say that? Wait, I missed that. Sorry, what?
The Fex spectacle will be going off.
He doesn't know what you're talking about. He's like, the Fex spectacle?
The Duke will know.
Shit. Nero's whipping his dick out at this party.
Yeah, so he seems, again, he seems pretty happy with the whole situation, and he asks Dern, he says, why will you not be accompanying the Queen in her entourage?
Because I work independently. I'm not compromised by entourages.
Okay. Seems okay with that.
Not bad, dude.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm Dern.
Yeah.
He also says that too.
He says, shit, I'm Dern.
Yeah, he mumbles under his breath, shit, I'm Dern. He starts being a little crazy.
He says, I have no doubt that you are a servant of the Queen, but do you have any proof of what you say? Dern, was it? Any writ documentation?
Should be
Other than the hole in my chest.
He acknowledges again that you are indeed a servant of the Queen. He's not questioning that.
Okay, documentation. Well, I was invited to this party, I guess.
So you take your the card out?
Oh, I guess Nero's holding my ticket because I'm not an adult. And,
Smart.
and so he looks back and he says, Nero?
Yeah, of course. He has a ticket.
Oh.
I just figured you didn't want a halfling loaded with weapons going in the front door.
He nods and says, yes, I will inform the servants and the Duke that you are invited in this way. And he also does like a more subdued for Queen and Empire.
If as Dern walks past him, he says, "If you want to hang out later, I'm down."
He doesn't seem to acknowledge that at all. As funny as joke how that was, he doesn't think that is.
Oh, man, Dern just wants friends. Okay.
I can tell. You're really going all the way with it.
He was tortured his entire life. He met friends 8 days ago.
His first friend.
His
All right,
first friend
so
before
you have
he-
successfully talked Dern into the party as a bodyguard of the Queen, and you can enter through a side entrance, presumably with weapons. And that's the session.
Oh, it was getting so good.
Well, yeah, it's going to get real good. Now there's basically nothing between you and the party unless you want to go, like, check on the distillery again, and we can spend a couple sessions on that.
We really should, but Michael Moskin doesn't care about the meth lab anymore.
Of distilling things.
To
Right.
the astral plane, Jeff?
Right? This is the perfect time for that, I think. Also, there's an Underdark door. You told the Atari about it, so they're going to open it. It's gonna
Yeah,
be bad.
now I made it a thing. I made it
Now,
canon,
yeah,
because
you've just
NPCs
canonized it.
know.
There's going to be Drow overrunning the city pretty soon.
It's like that movie Troll, where they open the door in the basement and the door goes into like some open valley.
Yeah. It's a great movie. Nilbog.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Alright, so MVPs, morals, what do you got? Morals
We got
first.
a lot of morals here.
We got a lot of morals.
We actually don't have that many morals, but
No, we had a lot of good ones.
We
just
weren't
didn't
recording
record
very many this session.
Yeah.
Sorry?
We didn't record very many. We were very immersed.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I appreciate that.
Nero said it could have been rumors, but now it's nothing.
That was good.
Well, motherfucker, I have a scroll of fly. I don't know how, but I do. I deploy my owl. I tell it to follow Mr. Gaping Maw. What do you want to look like, Bob? Hot. What does your hammer look like? A crab mallet.
That was also good.
No one expects a double sack. I guess Nero is holding my ticket because I am not an adult.
I like that one a lot.
And he does the Cheliac salute, which I'm not sure is a good salute.
Which I'm sure is not a good salute.
Oh, okay. Understood.
Yeah.
I misread that.
Yeah. So go ahead and vote with your emojis or whatever have you. And then MVP nominations.
Yeah.
I think I'd nominate Nero for
Yes.
some of the planning, and certainly the divination is going to help us a lot.
Yeah, I think Nero. You definitely held it together. Like, I basically pointed everyone to you. also Vors though for tracking a very untrackable person. That was cool. That was
That's
fun.
true. He
I
slipped
felt
there.
like
cool.
Assassin's Creed there.
And I liked, and Shirag, your role-playing today was a lot of fun, dude.
Oh, that was fun. It was easy to be Dern today.
Looks like I guess Nero's holding my ticket because I'm not an adult is the moral
Boo.
by virtue of voting. Alright,
Your democracy.
so /GM your votes as you will. Feel free to nominate more if you feel like other people did stuff. It's a lot of words, Dern.
I might statistically want the MVP, so.
Statistically.
Wait, what?
I'm missing a vote. I
One
only have
hero
4 votes.
Nero, how many hero points?
Oh wait, Nero hasn't voted. Hold on. Who's Nero gonna vote for?
Does it
Nero,
matter?
Nero.
It does matter.
Nero,
It matters
Nero.
immensely who you
Oh
vote
god,
for.
Nero.
God damn it, I hate voting for myself.
I think you
must.
love voting for yourself.
I know, I love it. I love it when it doesn't matter. I love it when it's like, oh, it's I win, and Mike votes and it doesn't matter.
You have to decide if you love voting for yourself or not, because you're one of the
This is the
two
liminal moment
in
for Nero.
contention. You can see the strain in his face.
Yes. Strain of the obelisk.
All right, Dern. Dern is the MVP.
Dern! Hooray! I needed
Dern
it.
of House Dern. Dern, son of a Dern son, is the MVP.
It's probably also useful to get the hero point to the guy who's going to actually have weapons.
Yeah. Yeah, strategy.
not the worst strategy.
Yeah.
All right, that's the session. Anything you guys want to say before I stop the recording?
Bobby has to do the thing.
Bobby.
Oh God.
If you like this, fuck, what is it? If you like this video, make sure you smash that like button. If you didn't like it, smash the dislike button twice. Subscribe if you like what you got. Make sure you check that bell over there so that you get notifications every time we have new content out. Leave a comment down in the doobly-doo, and don't forget to vote for NPC hero points so that Joe can forget about them in session 69.
Bijo, we love
Bijo.
you.
Shout out, Bijo.
We need more sponsors because Zaga need it. Oh, they dropped the ball. We need beer. Send us beer.
Need us, please.
Like I just please like I just.
We don't ask for much and we talk about you a lot.
All right, thanks for playing.